Alright. Let's hop into it. We're here. We're back. It's time. It's her. The crazy one. This lady is nuts. But I love her, so it's fine, right? I think? Maybe? But, we're here. It's time for, we did the prologue. Hi, Biscuit. And I guess now we are just full on ready for the first real episode. And then episode 2, whenever we're done, should be out by then. It was supposed to come out today. It'll actually come out on Tuesday? Tuesday. But regardless, we won't be, I don't know how long the actual episodes will be. My gut says that they're going to be longer than the prologue. But we'll see what happens. So let's just hop into it. I'm so excited to see what insane adventures await. You can choose to play episode 1 in high roller mode. In high roller mode, you're limited to 1 save slot, and you won't be able to reload your saves while inside the courtroom, things that we did not see in the prologue. Quick saving and autosaves will be disabled as well. Minimum ante for hands will be increased. The maximum and the minimum maximum penalties will be increased. But the maximum ante will be increased, allowing you to earn the largest possible high score for credit in this episode. Also unlock an exclusive phone charm that can't be earned any other way. You'd have to restart the episode. It is intended to encourage risk-taking and discourage saves coming. Consider enabling it if you want to pursue this mystery like a true gambler. No, I'm good. I'm fine. Thanks. I'm fine with standard. You pick standard. Enjoy the mystery. Hi, Bibees.
What up?
What up? Thank you for, what does that say, 39 months? Holy shit. Hello. Thank you for the resub. I super appreciate it. As we roll in through the second half of December. Oh god. Disable tutorials? Do we need tutorials? We did the prologue. I guess I'll turn them on for now, and if I ever decide no, I'll just turn them back off. I assume. I can just do that. It's fine. Whatever. I didn't make any tea, but it's fine. Listen, I wanted to thank you for coming over. Figures you'd notice. Anyone could tell something's bothering you. And you're the first person to say anything. What happened? The police came to see me. In public? No, they wanted to be considerate of my privacy. Well, that'd be a first. They wanted to talk to me about the other week. About my whereabouts. And yours. Ooh. Hi, Maya. Yes, I'm postured properly, I promise. I'll hydrate, yes. Hello. I told them I didn't know anything. They must have loved that. Funny. What would you have done? In your shoes? Probably cursed them out. Yeah, I could see that. Is there anything you want to ask me? No. Not even for a favor in return? No favors lost between friends, I say. That sounds like a toast. Why not? To friends. I'll raise a glass to that. The old sitcom? No, don't raise a toast to that one. I'm fine. Bye, Maya. Thank you for the lurk. I hope work goes well. We'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, hello. What is this? Class him! Vandalism detected. Incident logged. Recorded at 8:55 a.m. local time. Geopositional data. Encoded. If I could have all citizens in the area. Fuck off, copper. Visuals impaired. Facial recognition compromised. Pinging nearby opt-ins for corroborating evidence. Hey, he's lighting up every phone on the block. We need to go now or what? He'll use his outdoor voice. Or of us pinned down to our dental records before you can say we're Morning, Officer Leo. You look different today. You do something new with your uniform. Good morning to you too, Morgan citizen. Let's say we should already have all this stuff, yeah. Oh, some of this is new. Like trigonometry, rooftops, bonfires. Just like sunburned, bass, karaoke. Hidden talent, baking. Body count, you can't just ask a lady that. Take her to dinner first. Very important. To answer your question, no, I have not undergone any recent retrofitting. If you'd like a more detailed record of my maintenance history, you can make a request for, I've got it, must be a new coat of paint. You're referring to the act of vandalization that just took place. Only the most recent one. Super Cop over here has a new dent every time I see him. Cars honorably earned in the line of duty, scanning the street for jaywalkers and loiterers. Don't worry, ma'am. A report has been filed and the police are working to resolve the situation. Civil disobedience at this time of day? What's the world coming to? They're just stragglers, ma'am. There was a period of unrest in the area last night. Unlicensed protesting and demonstrating without a permit. Well, I hope you threw the book at them. Because clearly, freedom of assembly doesn't exist in this time period. The disturbance was handled, but individual instances of volatility may occur during the next 48 hours as we work to apprehend outside actors. Yeah, that's what they all say. Thanks for the forecast. So does the bleeding stop on its own? Androids don't have blood, ma'am. This is just a leakage of oxidizing fluid. My mistake. So you don't need a bandage, I take it? The leakage will dry shortly. Well, with that conversation thoroughly exhausted, I let my mind wander as I wait for the signal to cross. I unfocus my eyes and dull my hearing, sinking beneath the hum of the city street, and fading through the lies bustling around me like so much sea foam. Across the way, a large man with worn hands and an ill-fitting belt turns to a gorilla-like hulk of a machine and cups his hands in front of his mouth. Yo, 61! The machine halts its lifting with uncanny precision and turns to him. We're going on break! The robot tilts its head to the side. Can't work the piler without Schwinn up on the roof, so I don't know, take a load off, will you? Understood. Understood, came the over-enunciated reply. The man, already walking away, tossed a dismissive wave behind him. Yeah, understood. A moment after the man turns the corner, the robot attempts to mimic the hand wave to no one in particular. Goddamn coppers on every street corner. A derogatory word for automated dependents, particularly ones licensing blah blah on the already estate, interested parties. On one occasion, allowed for copper, or in other terms like it, clanker, classified as hate speech. Hooray! Like calling the cops pigs. Were considered a form of hate speech, incidents of destruction or corporate property where such terms were used as prior community would qualify for additional severity and higher fines paid. Under all but the most radical interpretation of hate speech law, however, terrors can only be directed towards sentient living things. People, animals, or corporations. Yeah, you know, those sentient things, corporations. If you feel that a corporation you know has been the victim of a hate crime, you can report it at our confidential portal here. People and animals, you can deal with that yourself. We're not dealing with that. Fuck you. At a bus stop, or what used to be a bus stop, now a charging station, a passionate young man voices his democratic opinion loud enough for the whole street to hear. They declare martial law when I wasn't looking? The small woman beside him, trying hard to appear even smaller, shifts in her seat. Well, they're just doing their job, so... Bots don't have jobs, except the ones they stole from us. Spikes the camera. Hi. They're not talking about me, right? Notice how they don't patrol nearly so heavy in Uptown, even on the worst days? His audience, captured by virtue of sharing the same charging pole as him, shuffles, coughs, and stares even harder at their phones. The woman looks at her knees and pulls at her shirt. You're kind of embarrassing me right now. Shh. He makes a vague gesture with his hand to indicate he stepped off his soapbox, and the shoulders of everyone around him relax a centimeter. Oh no, that's just... A woman with exhaustion in her eyes sighs at a hologram floating above her chrome-plated palm. Right, we already know what mods are, because we saw that in episode 0. While a rounded, smooth-looking android pushes a carriage behind her. Ellen, walk around the block, get her some air, would you? Apparently this call can't wait, and it's louder than a garbage disposal out here. Of course, ma'am, I'd be glad to. Of course, ma'am, I'd be glad to. The android punctuates its sentence with a sound halfway between a whir and a purr, which, judging by the coos and giggles coming from the child, seems to have been well received. Yeesh. Can't even push the stroller of your own kid around. Robots, holograms, androids, drones, coppers, if you prefer. Can't so much as sneeze in the city without a dozen different ads offering you a handkerchief. There's a vocal minority that think they're the downfall of civilization, but for everyone else, you're too kind, ma'am. You're too kind. No, hold on, what was his voice? You're too kind, ma'am. Thank you for your concern. It's hard to hate them when they're so eager to please. So here's my problem. Robots in general, good, love them. Me, look at me. Hi, how's it going? Police robots, bad, always bad, never a good thing. And also using robots to like take over your humanity duties, like pushing the child down, like playing with your kid and all that kind of bullshit. Like all that kind of stuff where it's like, hey, play with your kid. Blah, blah, blah. That sort of stuff. Having them do that, it's like also bad. Robot police, bad. Robots doing things for you that you should be doing instead, like should be, in regards to like taking care of your kids for like other human things, also bad. In general, no. Crosswalk's giving me the okay. There's a mild counterpart to, man, that one would do the exact same thing. That is true. You know what? You make a great point. If she just hired a regular ass human nanny to do the same thing, that's fair. Keep us safe, yeah? Have a good day, Morgan citizen. It's a bright, crisp morning in the city. The lights changing and people moving in click-clacking harmony, all smooth as clockwork. Were I in a worse mood, it would be a bit much. But I went out last night. Cause of death? Oh, I think that said cause of death, blunt force trauma? I couldn't tell because A was mainly because it was in the language. So I'm feeling pretty refreshed this morning. As I reach the other end of the street, I pivot lightly and give Automated Dependent Assistant Officer L30 my best impression of a salute. Thank you for your service. And of course, he creaks out a mirrored response. No sense of sarcasm, the poor bastards. But I didn't come all this way downtown to poke fun at the only happily employed class in human history. No, I came down here to make an important purchase. Today, I'm going to buy a gun. This is, an idle mind. You don't mean the gun that you already used to kill people, right? This is a different gun, yes? Maybe? Yeah, these are like regular ass guns. So many guns. Oh my god, so many guns. No staff around, but the lights are on. Should I have knocked? What's up? Desk personality setting 6. The cool one. Honestly, I haven't met the other desk personalities, but this is probably my favorite. I'm going to say. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I've probably forgotten more about firearms than you're programmed to remember. I bet you can! I recently acquired a license to carry concealed. Nice. Are you in law enforcement? Do you shoot for sport? Business or pleasure? Neither. May I ask why you're looking to carry concealed, ma'am? Oh, you know, assault with a deadly weapon, cruel intent, that kind of thing. Some of my clients live in very rough neighborhoods. Even in broad daylight, coming down to the lower wards for house visits can be... I see. You're a lawyer. You scared me for a minute there. I thought maybe you were saying that you were gonna commit murder and ha 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 ha. Oh, 100%. Like, here's the thing. She is sly. It's like, it's not sly to us. But to a regular ass robot like this, like that has no real intelligence to it, yeah, 100%. So I guess you'd say I'm in the market for self-defense. We have a wide selection of options for self-defense in a variety of sizes and calibers, with spread and PA fire options available. My bad. P to A stands for pseudo-automatic. I know. But for concealed, it'd have to at least be small enough to... This would go a lot faster if I just tell the desk what I want. Let's just be explicit. I need a mag rail. Word. We're proud to offer a number of models that utilize the latest in miniaturized ultra-capacity batteries to generate a Lorentz force which slings a slug fast enough to miss a limb at over 30 meters. Woo! Like, I don't even need to look at the term definition to understand that that means that arm go bye-bye. That limb is nothing but dust. Or mist, as it should say. To shoot or to kill that originates from the bloody spray produced when a modern projectile makes contact. Oh. To shoot or to kill. Oh. No, I like my definition better. I like my definition of literally turning it into mist. And it's safe? Of course, ma'am. My bad. 2-factor safeties with GPS and emergency services sync. It won't go off unless you want it to, and someone will definitely come running. All those convenient safety features make it incredibly easy for the police, or anyone who can dupe their tool set, to lock you out of your own gun with the flip of a switch. Couldn't walk a piece like that down a single uptown street without passing through 9 or 10 no-fire zones. They're the very worst, most useless kind of weapon a criminal could buy. Sounds perfect! How do we get started? Why does it feel like every desk I run into has to be such a character? Mercifully, it's tucked itself away while the fabricators get the gun tagged. I've got time to kill, so is there anything worth checking out around the shop? Someone left a data pad here. What's in the news? Lobo threatens Tetra with ransomware, vulgarity. Internationally wanted terrorist and serial data thief most commonly known as Lobo has seized the cache of vital Keystone data files belonging to the Tetra Metallics group, according to a press release, blah, blah, blah. It's a list of cross-posts on 90 different socials into 11 dominant languages. The supposed hacktivist, radical conservationist, and gentleman thief made clear their intent to ransom the files, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Though the posts were quickly flagged and quarantined thanks to user report, which we have declined to publish here on grounds journalistic integrity and do this strongly, has remained in circulation, loose network of rogue data harbingers, sizable monetary ransom, list of demands that span pages, de-escalation of all conflicts surrounding rare earth metal deposits around the equator. Someone in 2086 doing cyberpunk hack shit. I mean, look, it's the kind of title that never dies. Gentleman Thief will never go out of style, let's be real. Refused to confirm that the only impacted their billing services says that the corporation could not in good faith resume distribution. Market prices for rare earth surged following the hacking attack as supply halted and demand rose. A spokesperson for mining is progress. The rare earth metal industry called Lobo's acts of terror against the free market. Whoa there, looks like you're not logged in. Want to take care of that real quick? No, I'm good. Lobo, again, or someone using their name. Suppose it doesn't matter if they're original or not, so long as it's a genuine threat. And no one could snare a corporation as rich as Tetra without serious skills. It does seem consistent with Lobo's politics, making demands for... But Lobo beat our... We tried to process your request, but Lobo beat our ass till we ragdolled. You are welcome for clearing out this cache of soy slop before it could clog your brain arteries into whatever dumbest dishwater script kitty they yelled at to come fix this. Word of advice from your superior. I own that... Lobo is king. Interesting. It's not the first time Lobos voiced their displeasure with the decades-old simmer of conflict around the tropics. But unless the rare earth metals powering all our batteries and fueling all our pretty little androids are suddenly made a lot less rare overnight, I doubt the state will stop taking an interest in those regions' politics anytime soon. And even if they did, they just lie and... Because maybe they're not as rare, or maybe they are as rare. Who knows, but it's a problem regardless. Sheesh, would it kill you to clean up a little? Guess the desk kindly asking customers not to litter can only get so far if you're not willing to pay someone to sweep up. Wait, is this trash? This flyer, it's scannable? Stagnancy theory, really? They get a lot of self-proclaimed philosophers in here? Okay, renowned net philosopher Corbin Cawthorne, real name withheld, Moore's Law used to be the benchmark. We used to dream of humanity marching bravely into space, artists and creating virtual wonders, okay? Brightest minds spent all the time and effort kicking the can of climate crisis down the road. Yeah, that sounds about... Okay, here's the thing. Our brightest minds are not kicking the can down the road. They're fucking ready. The brightest minds want to solve climate change. They want to solve the climate crisis. The problem is the people with the money and the power. Anyways, the middle class eaten alive by the rich, yeah, that's true, can no longer afford the very products they have. Okay, that's old. This is long before 2086. Man, tech no longer has ever lived to be as small as powerful as possible. In stagnant waters, only parasites and disease grow. Okay. There's another thing at the bottom, probably leading to a collection dish. Or a state honeypot, if you want to be paranoid. Better burn this shit before some neat freak idiot picks it up and gets arrested. I hate these kind of screens. Gotta look at them with your nose turned up or else they start eye tracking. Next thing you know, they're saying hello on a first name basis. I've got practice with this sort of thing. They can skim the headlines at least. Why the 12-6 work week gives us more free time to... I'm sorry. That one broke my soul. That one was too real. That one hurt. Couldn't even get through it. I'm 14 and I tried dieting a smart UI. It made me the happiest I've ever been. How term limits are anti-democracy. Oh, no, too real, dial back. Oh no. Ugh. Transfusion from warm androids saves soldier's life. Cool? Honestly, I like that one. That's one hell of a headline. If the Animate 16 wasn't selling well before, I'm sure by now it's... Honestly, if that one's true, that one's cool. I like that one. There's some kind of news program playing on the screen. Most public spaces are too scared to put on any channel with content more political than the smiling micro-apartment flippers. But this is a gun store, after all. Power is always political. Wait, how long has it been? Shouldn't take them that long to get my gun properly bugged. I'm sorry, we've received a breaking news story. We're seeking confirmation and yes, we have it confirmed. Lead programmer at Noble Electronics and famed designer of the Turing solution, Dr. David Asher, has passed. What? Proprietary Vantage automated dependent management system, along with the Animate series of androids, must be some kind of corporate propaganda tactic. Or, no, they wouldn't risk fake news. But why? Perhaps best known for his breakthroughs in the field of machine learning, misinformation, maybe? Trying to author many of the developments that allowed for Noble's rapid growth. David Asher is dead? Including the popular Death series of smart AIs. That's very sad. I didn't ask. Sorry, I just... Command only. Understood. Will you be paying with cash or credit? Debit. Ooh, so neither. 9:41 a.m., July 1st, 2086. How'd you look at that? The gun was light. Lighter than I expected. A real gun should always be heavy. Greater than the sum of its parts. That's one of the things I like about them. Their weight. Like they're anchoring the world around them. Like they're a fixed point in time. Like everything else is just relative to them, either closer or further to the end. I would have liked something heavier during that walk back to my apartment. Would have liked to have something to feel far away from. Morgan's apartment! Didn't realize I was home until my hand was on the door. What is this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Fumbling in my pocket for my lighter. Golden, polished, tastefully ergonomic, and fine and expensive. And a good lighter. It was a good gift. I kept the card, didn't I? Here it is. The only smoker in my life. I know gold's a bit much for your personal style, but they don't make a lot of these anymore. Believe it or not, the only other people who share your vice are stuffy old men with that expensive taste. Hope you can manage to get some use out of it anyway. Your friend, David. Wait, you're personal friends with David Osher? Hi. Dislikes brain freeze, driving lint, eyeglasses, custom designed, shampoo, expensive, sense of humor, unique. The news might have more information by now. Or not. Looks like the net's full of copy-pasted statements from Noble, auto-edited montages, ill-fitting quotes. David Asher was a renowned computer scientist, user experience, blah blah. He first received worldwide recognition for his postgraduate in intelligent body of work, commonly known as the Turing solution, though he retained the original patent on the Turing solution for the rest of his life. He was famously unlitigious. By most industry experts' estimates, the Turing solution exists in some form, and 92% philanthropic efforts and invaluable skills placed him at the front and center of Noble Electronics' public image. Many considered him to be the unofficial face of the company, as private like Grace, the tabloids and gossip section, passed away on June 31st, 2086. In the last 44 minutes. Wild. Reactions to the news from every micro-celebrity under the sun. Their raw, authentic emotion brought to you live from all the car seats and bathroom mirrors of the world. But there's nothing about his death, not even a time window. Did he die this morning? Was he found dead in his bed? Has he been dead for days while Noble's just been waiting for the right time to let it leak? Or did he die last night while I was out screwing around? Phone call? Better not be work-related. I'm not in the right mood. Oh, Morgan, thanks for picking up so fast. She's Jessica Starling, who asked me to call her. Hi, Jess. Jessica Starling, date of birth June 24th. Executive assistant at Noble Electronics. Doesn't like hangovers, yeah. Doesn't like machismo. I like that, that's funny. Charm point, her earnest smile. That's why bar hopping in the lower wards. The best at reading the stock market. Oh, listen, I need to. I've already seen the news. What? Oh, of course you have. Duh. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. With the company and their people and all the. What I mean is, if it were up to me, you would have been the first call I made. For a decision like that to be up to David's assistant, about 1,000 other Noble employees above her on the ladder would have to get axed. But it's alright. Wait, she wasn't just an assistant, she was David Asher's assistant? Oh, it does say executive assistant, yeah. No one ever really knows what to do with these kind of things. Still, I'm sorry you had to hear it from a stream Chiron. What difference does it make how the information gets to me? Could have stumbled upon his corpse myself and I wouldn't feel mostly the same. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call anyway. Yeah, if I want more information, she's the best source I'm going to get, maybe for weeks. What to ask at a time like this? I'm supposed to express denial first, but she's probably short on time. I don't feel like following the playbook to the letter right now. Can you tell me what happened? The police, they think that he took something. Suicide? And the police are already involved. They say it was some kind of poison or... God. Noble's got a lot of weight to bludgeon the state with, especially in this city. I would think they'd keep the police at arm's length for at least a few days. Listen, Morgan, I need to ask something of you. Of course, Jess, whatever you need. It's work-related. God damn it, Jess. Whatever you need. A bit much, but she's grieving. That's just how people talk. Thought my day was really salvageable anyway. I'd like to bring you up here, to David's place. What do you mean? There's something I have to give you. You're not handling as well already, are you? If the police are involved, it'll be a while before... No, I'm sorry. It's not like that. Before he... No, please, don't hold back on my account. David asked me to get this into your hands. It wasn't work-related, but he asked me. I know I'm asking a lot here, but since it turned out to be the last thing he ever asked me to do, I'd like to get it done. I don't like showing up at crime scenes more often, or more quickly, than strictly necessary. And that's when I only have to worry about the police. With Noble looming over all this, security will be doubled, and scrutiny tripled. This is too risky. There's no logical reason to agree to her request, but I think I'm going to end up doing it anyways, cause what the fuck is logic sometimes? Swing by my place with a cab, yeah? Besides my own morbid curiosity. Right, of course. Thanks, Morgan. Thank you. Wait, I almost forgot! What is it? You don't happen to have anything you could wear in black, do you? I mean, I think her jacket is mostly black. Like, I know she mainly has the white shirt, but I think she has a black jacket. In transit. The autocab hums a synthesized purr as our on-ramp merges onto a canopy superhighway steadily and subtly all at once. Not much super about it, but it does cast one hell of a shadow. Canopies always felt very arts and crafts to me. Cobbled together, always added on to, never finished, never planned. It's clearly taken a lot of time and effort to make, but the end result's still ugly. And it feels like it could fall apart at any moment, and it probably will by episode 5, let's be real. At some point, it definitely will. You okay, Morgan? You look a little carsick. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. But if I ignore her text now, she'll just send more later. Hey, Freckles! Saw your friend Asher on the news. Rip. Thank you. For trying to be sincere. Worth a shot. We all have our strings. God damn, you're one passive-aggressive little girl. What is all your filial piety go out the window whenever you talk to me? Filial piety doesn't work on you. You love yourself too much to appreciate respect. True, went the train. See, Freckles, you can be very insightful. When you aren't too busy side-eyeing the whole world. Wonder where I picked that up from. Not from me. I assume this is her mom? I'm pretty sure you were born muttering insults under your breath. The nurses tried to make you cry and you responded by giving them self-esteem issues. Did you ever have dealings with Noble? 10 out of 10 shift in the convo. Subtle as a car crash. Subtlety doesn't work on you either. Well, it might. if you were good at it. Thanks, Mom. This is me asking you for advice. Okay. I guess this never sunk in. But because you spent most of your apprenticeship asleep, okay, maybe not mother, might be mentor then. But my clients were all celebs, the rich and famous. I didn't have that many dealings with the Megs that owned their likenesses. Is it really that different? Plenty. Celebs don't like people seeing their dirty side, so they pay smart people like me to clean up their messes. But Megs don't like people seeing them at all. Period. Wait. And also, Megs are a lot more lively when it comes to fucking? Shitting? Gross. I'm gonna assume fucking. Hard workers with a lot of stress to vent. Stop. Do you have any actual help to offer? Oh, Megs probably mean mega corporations. Truth be told, I did have this one run-in where I got shit deep into corporate intrigue. Why? Because I got caught up the Vandalized 45 poster girl. Oh. Oh. You know what? Maybe we don't need that one uncensored. I think I understand. God damn it. Hard worker. A lot of stress to vent. Glad to know I can always reach out to you in my time of need. I'm gonna let that slide because I know you're in mourning. Look. Corporate types are all a bunch of paranoid drug addicts, huffing glue and playing roulette on their phones, all fantasizing about stabbing everyone else in the meeting to death. I don't expect them to play nice just because Asher was your pal. My actual advice is, get whatever you're owed and get out. And get out of there fast as fuck, boy! That's a beautiful thought, Auntie. Okay, I mean it. Okay, that tells us a lot. Auntie and probably lawyer mentor. The one who got Morgan into being a lawyer. Corporations prefer Viking funerals. What's a Viking funeral? This is 2086. No one's talked about a Viking funeral in 60 years. A dignified ceremony where the body's sent out to sea on a boat, then they set everything on fire and sink the ashes to the bottom of the ocean, trying to linger freckles. You don't want to be stuck on board when they start knocking their arrows. Thanks. But what the hell was that about me sleeping on the job? I worked harder in one day than any of you Gen Alpha drunks did all week. Should've worked smarter. And if you want to go there, you did literally fall asleep on the job. At the Christmas party. What a great fucking picture of everything here. What is that? What is that? Why do you have that? It's not even accurate. Work parties are still work, Freckles. I only had my eyes closed. Because all you old farts had your cameras flash on. Morgan, something wrong? You're sweating. Just deleting some spam. Victoria Masters. Lawyer to the rich and famous, semi-retired. Likes handsome men, pretty women, and expensive liquor. You know what? Fair enough. Just like plenty people, prudish people, and flying commercials. Jewelry, 24 karat. Age, difficult to verify. Cigars, death, 13 cigarettes, and other adult stuff. We've got a couple more minutes of crawling through the canopy's guts before we reach David's part of the city. Uptown, our better half. Gleaming opera houses and towering corporate apartments. Boutique shops with more cameras than customers. Penthouses stacked upon penthouses in a frantic climb to the top of the rat pile. I will say, though, it's still very funny I love that entire exchange at the end with Victoria. when we actually saw Morgan flustered for a moment. Holy shit, that's amazing. All reined in by restaurants with long wait times and small serving sizes. The joke is that Uptown folks go most of the year without touching street level. Not much of a punchline there, it's basically true. By now, his whole block must be swarmed with cops, themselves surrounded by media and all encircled by onlookers. I could try and enjoy these last few moments of calm, but if the storm's coming either way, I'd rather use that time to try to find my footing. Actually, Jess, if you've got a second, I was curious about... I saw that headline, by the way. The one where your warm android saved that soldier's life. Oh yeah, pretty feel-good, don't you think? So folks at the company must have been in high spirits lately, I take it. That's what I thought when I first heard about it, but I don't know, maybe upper management's never happy? Correct. 100% correct. Because they're still just riding sales harder than ever, pushing the traditional consumer markets. I thought they'd start building a pitch for Congress the day the story dropped. Big patriotic campaign telling everyone why we need a contract for warm androids in the military. But I haven't heard about them moving staff around for anything like that. Maybe it's all above my pay grade. All the corporate power and money in the world. And they're still such joyless assholes they won't even celebrate their victories. Remind me, how many years did you and David work together? Oh, well, I started with the company about 4 years ago. They offered me a temp contract when I was graduating. I was put in HR right in the middle of a hiring burst, so I spent 2 months in the warrants. Then an aptitude test got me fast-tracked to mid-to-low management. Sorry, warrants. Oh, that's what we called the company dorms back then, on account of all the... well, of all the people. Plus, it was underground. Didn't see the sun that first month. My skin got so dry. Is that normal in your industry? Normal for everyone I've ever worked with? Except David, of course, but I mean, he was the best. Yeah. One Tuesday morning, Dr. David Asher walked right up to my desk like I had won the lotto. Said I should come work for him. Dr. David Asher, directly. On a random Tuesday morning, like it was nothing. He didn't like to do things on Mondays. Said people were always too tired to get anything done anyway. Yeah, that's right. He did say that. I should know by now, right? 3 years of arranging meetings and keeping him organized and occasionally straightening his tie. He was a good boss. He was a good guy. Yeah. When did you last speak with him? In person? Thursday. Thursday afternoon. The day before yesterday. He seemed normal. I mean, we still don't really know anything, Jess. You're right, thanks. Thursday's the last time I saw him. And that was when he asked me to meet with you. I'm guessing you've already been to his place. Yeah, it's a real mess over there. It's that bloody. Oh god, no, not that kind of mess. I just mean with the cops stacked on the media, stacked on the lawyers, each of them with their own network of drones and all their droning. It's a very high productivity atmosphere, is what I mean. When were you able to get over there? Well, I got a call from legal late last night. They weren't exactly delicate in breaking the news to me. Last night? They said I needed my help sorting through all this. Well, you know how we left things organized sometimes? He's been dead since last night, and they've kept it under wraps that long. I know there are a lot of powerful people in his circles, but to stop it from leaking for over 12 hours. So there's like more than just your typical powerful people trying to control the narrative. Seems more like there's something they're actively trying to suppress. So you found out last night. Right, last night. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I should have told you as soon as I found out. Really, it's alright. Did you see anything? No, I still haven't actually seen him at all. He was airlifted to the hospital ASAP, and that's where he passed, so... But, well, I didn't get the impression that the cops had been there that long. Not compared to the lawyers. They and the rest of the company people seemed pretty entrenched. Noble set up camp before the people even arrived. So what time would that have been? I guess I got there around 9 p.m.? Yeah, because at 9:15, they switched my phone to silo mode and I got locked out of everything but my work stuff. Someone less blah at 9:13, see? Gonna expire whoever put me in heels this morning. It's me. They can do that to your phone. Lock you out of social media. Of course not. Well, unless I'm on the clock. Or off the clock, but I'm on company property. Then they can remote only tech. Yeah. How convenient. So if I got in at 9 p.m., I guess the rest of the company people had been there since 8:30? I hadn't been there more than a few minutes before the mood change. A word about the hospital declaring him dead had started to leak. I see. He died after he reached the hospital. That's unexpected. It's 2086. You might be in trouble if you get stuck in bureaucratic purgatory when you need to be in the emergency room. But other than that, if you reach the hospital alive, a good doctor can stabilize most any patient within a few moments. And Noble Electronics' lead programmer would have a very good doctor. Unless Noble Electronics wanted him dead, which is my immediate first thought. They always get rid of their star, especially when the star is a good person. So what the hell happened? Is she mistaken? Was she just not officially declared dead until recently in the hospital for some reason? Or... hard to think about, I know. Yeah. Or hard to believe. Jess, I have to wonder. What kind of request did David make of you that it couldn't wait a few days? Right, of course. He asked me to give you something. Something? She's trying to build suspense. Right, it's just, well, I don't know exactly what it is. You have no idea? He asked me to give you the contents of a safe. Are we headed to the bank, then? No, see, he has this private safe in his basement. Maybe you've seen it? Well, I say safe, but it might be more accurate to call it a storage locker or a false wall. And all he told you was that he wanted me to have what's inside. Right, he was very clear about that part. Your eyes only, straight into your hands. Handle it in person, he said. Strange. This is all pretty analog for someone as technically gifted as David. But then again, in the modern day, a lot of the technically gifted people would much prefer if we go back to analog for something. It's like, nah, fuck this shit. Coming from anyone else, I'd call it paranoid. But David was never paranoid. Even when he had every right to be. If he wanted this handled a certain way, it must be for a good reason. So, David asked you to do this on Thursday, correct? Yeah, Thursday. And he passed last night, Friday. Yeah. Wait, you don't think that when we met, he had already decided? It's not healthy to speculate on that sort of thing. More importantly, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. The dead don't have anything to offer the living. I should know. You're probably right. Besides, we'll need to focus. Judging by the size of the crowd I'm looking at, it looks like we're about to jump into the thick of it. And just slam through and run everyone over. Noble Employee Housing Building. Platea. Platea? Lobby. And I thought there were a lot of police here before. Maybe too late to ask, but you're not bad with crowds, are you, Morgan? She's kidding, right? It's downright airy in here compared to what we just waded through. Wide eyes and clenched fists, heads peeking over shoulders and around signs. Police, both mechanical and warm-blooded, closing ranks with holograms and quick-set wires to draw a severe perimeter. While protesters, mourners, fanatics, and busybodies shuffle about at the edges of the police line, the heat of their panicked anxiety washing over... Who the hell were all those people? Well, there've always been people with strong feelings about our products. Android stepped forward into the mob, gently, firmly, unfeelingly parting the human tide. Most of them with official police branding, but a few remotely deputized consumer models emerged from the crowd to join them. All of them built by Noble. All of them built from David's code. All of them standing vigil outside his tomb. This is all technically company property, isn't it? Yep, David had the penthouse all to himself, but every other floor's tenants are Noble employees too. Not an uncommon arrangement in Uptown. Work at Noble, rent from Noble. Wave hello to your noble neighbor in the morning, and make sure to request a spot in line at the official company crematorium. They don't actually do that last part, I hope. I think. Does Noble handle employee funerary arrangements? Yeah, it's a pretty standard benefit, actually. It's cheap for them compared to dental. They don't even have dental? Dear God. But Noble's always been generous with benefits. Work hard and the company will have you set for life. And after. Both the state and Noble have gotten themselves entrenched here in the lobby. Security and damage control and PR and liability. Everybody just glad to be working. I'm feeling a little overstimulated. Any chance we can just skip all these checkpoints? And no, absolutely not. So, who do we need permission from? The cops or the company? My request went through, so we should have the go-ahead from both at this point. We won't need to go near the actual, is it still called a crime scene if it's not technically a crime? I don't want to think about how many suits Noble's paying to debate that question right this very instant. David's vault is in the penthouse basement. We can't get to it from these ground floor elevators. We'll have to ride straight up to the rooftop veranda, walk in his front door, and then head down. If Jess says we can do all that without stumbling across where he died, then... Okay, so if we just flash my ID card at any problem that comes up, including him... London, my dude, good to see you. How you doing? Hey ladies, look, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid we're at capacity at the moment. Anyone else by, and we won't be able to maintain... Huh, you're that lawyer, Morgan. You conned me, detective. How long's it been? Feels like it's been ages. Oh dear. Not still bitter about our last encounter, I hope? Olive. I don't see the spunky one around. She's taking a mental health day to preserve that unflappable charm. Detective Reyes is around. Why? You miss her that bad? I've had blind pimples that were more endearing. You two know each other? Jess Starling, meet homicide detective Kasim London. How long ago was that? It's a very important question. It's a pleasure, miss. Oh, likewise? As you might have guessed, the detective and I are acquainted. Comes with the line of work. Morgan's being modest, sweetheart. We're practically blood. Oh, wow, me? Sweetheart? Something wrong, Starling? No, nothing wrong. I'm just... hot guy, looks a bit pathetic. He's very... Anyways... How close we are, still can't just let her walk in off the street and onto the scene of an ongoing investigation. Even Noble's lawyers have to play by the rules today. Play by the rules. So there is a game afoot. What makes you assume I'm here in a professional capacity? You're a criminal defense attorney and we're at a crime scene. Call it an old man's intuition. Good detectives don't rely on intuition, though, do they? They rely on evidence. Oh, I don't rely on it, don't worry. I just need to lean on it every now and then when my back acts up. Oh, cool. Guy gets a bit of gray in his hair and thinks it's a free pass to act like a goddamn cowboy. Oh yeah, he does have gray. Look, he's got the one streak. He's got the one little bit. Well, I'm afraid your intuition is off this morning, detective. I'm here on a private matter. The deceased wasn't your client? No, that would have been a conflict of interest. Conflict of... You two knew each other. I see. In that case, allow me to give you my condolences. Thank you. What I could really use is a bit of your help. You sure rally fast. Jess? Right. We have this clearance here, detective, sir, from legal, which allows us... That's all right, little lady, I trust you. You can leave the paperwork holster for now. The little lady? We aren't here for David, really. We won't be setting foot anywhere near your staging area, detective. Alright, why not? How generous. I can afford to be generous today, because if I screw up... He gestures to the lobby full of suits and cops. Plenty of folks at hand ready to pick up the slack. And also, if they do, there's a good chance that I'm going to be working the beat tomorrow. Oh wait, shit, that job's already been taken by the androids. Never mind, I'll just be on the street. Or be the one getting beat. Well, if you're that at ease, perhaps I can take this time to ask you a few questions. Hey, you can always ask, Tiger. I think you understand what I mean when I say whether or not I can answer is not entirely up to me. Looking a bit haggard. How long have you been here anyway? Since this morning. But civilized folks don't call it morning when the streetlights are still on. Even if you got here around 1 or 2 in the morning, that still means homicide wasn't brought in until hours after Noble had the lay of the land. Sounds like you could use a break. I could use a retirement package. You're a lawyer, right? According to all my business cards. Think I can sue for elder abuse? Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. You would lose, though. I already regret asking. Why they've got a homicide detective losing sleep over this anyway? A man is dead. He wasn't killed by fire, a vehicle, organized criminals, or disinformation. As far as we know. So at the moment, homicide's technically not the worst fit. But we're leading in name only. High-profile death like this, everyone's got their eyes on us. And a hand placed firmly on the back of our neck. I've been checking my phone, but the only thing the news seems to agree on is that David passed away. Sorry, but if you're asking for details, no. Thank you. For not letting them make this into a parade. Yet. We do our best to respect the privacy of anyone involved with an ongoing investigation. He declined to say victim. Detective Dr. Asher was a close friend of mine for many years. Yeah, he trusted Morgan more than anyone. Can you tell me if he killed himself? It looks like that's the case. I see. Thank you for telling me that. Dr. Ash? Yeah, you're, well, sorry. Another round of guarded words. David was an important man, and it has only been a few hours. But all this tiptoeing gives me the feeling that whatever happened to David, it wasn't cut and dry. Very likely, look, poison is probably the thing that's the easiest thing to do a murder with and make it look like a suicide. One of the easiest. Maybe not the easiest, but certainly one of. The other easiest one is, by hanging. Since, the death looks the same either way. Just set him up on the thing, put a chair like down below them as if they had kicked it out from under themselves. You're done. Easy peasy. Anyways, you boys and Noble all getting along with each other, sharing your toys. Some of the younger ones are bristling, but always play out well with others, counselor. And how well do the Megs play with you? And how well do the Mags play with you? They give you full access to the building's security. Derogatory and hateful terms used to refer to so-called megacorporations, or anyone who works for them. Disney? Numerous unverified for how the term originated from the slang word shark, which was used to refer to ruthless individuals. Others claim that Meg was short for Megan, short of archetypical that defended the contribution to the corporation to me. Tired of having to read anti-industrious sentiment on the net? Check out our auto-censor tools that replace harmful words like Meg with friendly alternatives like Job Creator or Patriot. Oh, holy shit, I should have looked at that. Look, their stock's down. Their stock is down 2.58% today now that he's dead. Wild. They've given us access and they say it's full. Some big penumbra system. Top of the line coverage, top to bottom of the building. The size of the data stream's torrential. It'll be a while before we can start making sense of it all. A more conspiratorial man might think that was intentional. Various in data and hope we're too swamped to find whatever they're trying to hide? Maybe. Wait, they give you full access to the penumbra? But that means every android in the building is feeding you their full spectrum. You know your stuff. Penumbra pulls data from any androids connected to a building's net, but that's not much help since there weren't any androids in the penthouse. Right. I'd heard the rumors. Never put much stock in them, but it's true. Asher really never owned a single android. Never. Well, I suppose I might do the same if I was the genius who programmed them all. Every time they opened their mouth, it'd just be his own lip service refracted 1,000 times over, echoing back at him from a mass key carved. Oh, that means all you'll have to investigate with are the penthouse's security cameras. That should be more than enough to wrap up a case like this. In a good way, I mean. We're very much on top of this, ladies. Everything's totally fine, everything's great, not a single problem in the world. David was one of the biggest names in tech. He was the face of Noble Electronics. One could argue androids are only as common as they are today because of his contributions to the field. Some people felt that way, sure. So do you think anyone want to hurt him because of that? Remind me, which one of us is the detective again? You really won't let me pick your brain. You already know the answer. Yes, ads are controversial, androids especially. We at Noble are aware that our products are sometimes the subject of heated debate, but no need to quote the handbook at its miss. Truth be told, I've never really understood the hate. That's not that complicated, is it? How many people have lost a job to an ad at least once in their career? Every last one of them lost their jobs because their bosses, their flesh and blood bosses, fired them. Okay, here's the thing. They're both right. 100%, they're both correct. How it becomes the problem, there's so many, no, ads are just a symptom, scratch that. Ads are just a product. Getting mad at them is pointless. And analyzing them is less than pointless because unlike us, they're all insured. And besides, android production has surged over the last decade to become one of the nation's biggest exports. True, I have at least one thing we can make in this country. That's right, Noble only outsourced the production of a small handful of internal components. Every other part of the manufacturing process is proudly done right here at home. I somehow doubt everyone considers the specifics of Noble's supply chain to be a point of national pride. But you don't need a political science degree to see how much the state values Noble's contributions to the national economy. Alright, now listen, I don't mind being helpful, and I am trying to be sensitive here. But we really do have a lot on our hands at the moment, so I'm going to have to ask you to be discreet, and ideally, fast. Well, our business is just in the basement, David's basement. But the penthouse is on the top floor, the roof, so its basement would be second to last floor, if you want to be technical, detective. The point is, we don't need to go into the kitchen or the parlor. We'll go straight back to his workshop and then head downstairs. The kitchen and the parlor. I understand. All the same, I like to escort you two ladies there myself. Wow, an escort, like royalty. Isn't he a gentleman? Yes, he's... Lead the way, detective. True to his word, London ushered us past the chattering suits and humming drones, through the checkpoints and into the elevator. As it climbed into the sky, we got a good look at the growing throng of people gathered outside, and its shifting makeup. Seems like it's mostly protesters now, or worse, brand loyalists. Corporations are not your friends. Idiots led around by the nose their whole life, following the musk of whatever trend is laid out before them each morning. Today's trail having led them here, for half reasons they couldn't put into words even if their lives depended on it. They're like insects. And they look like them from up here. They're probably already preparing their spin. The misunderstood genius of Dr. David Asher, a video essay in 5 parts. Why the company insisted on cultivating such a following for him, I've never understood. Could have easily pinned his achievements on someone more marketable. Some random photogenic employee or a fashion model with glasses. David wouldn't have minded. He never wanted the attention, the chaos. Maybe it's as simple as bad luck. He just happened to have the right look for the part. A man buried in his work, with his eyes fixed ahead. I'm so curious what we're gonna see up in this penthouse. The answer is probably not much, but just enough to give Morgan an idea of something fishy's going on. This is, his laboratory? His shop, he called it. Oh, down to earth. It's messy in here. David was always disorganized. Why a program need to make such a mess just to run tests on computers I'll never... But sloppy as he could be, he didn't like it when other people saw it. If he was leaving things like this, he must not have entertained any guests down here in some time. Thanks for all your help, Detective London. Don't mention it. What, you want me to step out? We won't take long. Not lacking for boldness, are you? Look, apparently, I have to take a phone call. We'll be in and out as soon as possible. Promise. And whatever Dr. Ash wanted set aside for his foundation. We'll be sure to flag it. Alright. At least she's already wearing gloves. If we find a dead body, you'll be our first call. Morgan, what was that stuff about his foundation? Dr. Ash's charity has always been managed by an outside group. You haven't spent a lot of time around crime scenes, have you? Actually, this is my first. Well, generally speaking, it's not really common to retrieve things from the premises while the cops are still searching them. Oh! Look, if David had something he wanted to give me, we can go get it. We just can't make a ton of noise about it, understand? Of course. Great. After you. Right. Quiet as a church mouse. Wait, what did she say? Oh, quiet as a church house. My brain just immediately auto-corrected it to the right word. The phrase is quiet as a church mouse, but all the mice have been replaced with ads too. Caught myself. I'm okay. But now it doesn't seem like the time to correct her. David's shop was a mess, but the mess felt familiar. It was very David. Coming down here, I barely recognized the place. For starters, there's a goddamn gym. David hated exercise. Always claimed he didn't have the time for it. Even when I got on that treadmill, and the subscription for the personal coaching program with the scheduling subroutine, said he couldn't find the time. And then even when I explained to him that the program accounted for that, and adapted to his schedule, he still... Morgan, what's up? You're smiling. What's so funny? Nothing. Just surprised to see the place renovated. Yeah, he actually had me on mail tag with a couple contractors a while back. Never thought I'd have to learn so much about concrete and wiring and marble. Did you know that marble needs to be treated or else indoor air will start to corrode it? I didn't know that. Is that true? Wait, is it not? But her guy told me that without an epoxy finish, the entire bar table could... Is that the vault over there, then? Oh, yeah. Stands out, I guess. Nervous. Was that? Oh, a little, I guess. But the inhaler helps mostly, so... Aren't you going to open it? Open it? Don't you know the combination? No, I did not know the combination to David's basement vault. Oh, no, how can I tell? He didn't tell you or give you a code. He gave me the code to get into the building and the parking garage, but not the code to whatever this is. Okay, you know, there were a lot of scattered papers back in his shop. Could he have left you a note on one of them? Yes, he could have. He would have. In fact, he probably did. You just stay right there, Morgan. I'll have this settled in just a sec. Sounds good. Right then. Well, it's definitely locked. Looks like it's a tap this basics. And yes, we really do have everything for sale. Blech. Feels like worse Amazon. Tap this basics, Sturditure, anti-hack, anti-digital, high-rated code panel. Nothing basic about it, but at least I can see the passwords limited to 6 characters. Only 1 million possible combinations. Was it your name, Morgan? Was it your name? Was it perhaps your name? I might be pulling at straws here, but was it your name? Some chances, but what the hell? Why shouldn't I give it a shot? Nothing's happening. Okay, that was dumb. Don't really want to dwell on why I thought that could work. Forget it. There's a different terminal over here. Cotter Security Systems, according to the label. Maybe it controls the whole room. Damn. It's password protected too. And the code's 64 digits long. What's the point of a Candor system that's harder to crack than your literal vaults, you eggheaded... Okay, yeah, a programmer probably would care more about his IoT than whatever he can fit in a safety deposit box. Right, his internet things. Guess the 6-digit vault or nothing. But I'm a lawyer, not a lockpick. Whatever other felonies... Whoops. I get up to in my private time. I've never pulled off a bank heist before. Only 20 different kinds of murder. Only tool I've got here is my head. So what do I know? I know that whatever David put in the safe, he wanted it kept secure. And I also know that he wanted me to have it. So maybe he thought ahead. Maybe he guarded it in such a way that I would be the only one who could open it. David liked games. And he really liked beating me. So if he's left one last puzzle for me, I don't mind going another round. David's wine collection, still towering over the room. Don't know why he'd buy so many bottles. He didn't even particularly like the stuff. Maybe just to fill out all these shelves. But not all the bottles are untouched. Some of them don't have dust on them at all. There's a mechanism for retrieving bottles off the rack. The latest bottle chosen was a Mudicomp 81. Could be significant. Mudicomp 81. Except, Avengers only list the year they were bottled, not the month or day. It's not enough digits for the code. Oh, whoa. Hello, Maya. Welcome back. I'm postured, I promise. Okay, I'll hydrate. Fine. What you looking at, Biscuit? Oh, this must be his spare liquor cabinet. Damn, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And a lot of bottom shelf swill. The kind of bargain bin vodka and nose burner whiskey that only an underground programmer could love. It's all just sweet like that. Overpowering. 1 part per million can cover up even the cheapest aftertaste. Taking a closer look, this is a pretty serious looking set of resistance training equipment. And these weights. They're all set near to the max. If Noble hadn't appointed him a nutritionist along with his stylist, David would be downright scrawny. There's no way he was putting up these numbers. In which case, the digits on the weights could be a clue. There's too many and I can't guess the order. So what the hell, Asher? You just set all the weights to max because it looked more neat. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't put it past him. That sounds like a thing he would have done. It's a very big painting. And it's, impressionist? No, cubicle. Cubist, which is still incorrect. Yeah, cubicle. That sounds right. It is not. What was that on the floor, by the way? So we'll check it out in a second. I'm having fun with the notes telling Morgan off. Whatever its style, I do remember that David liked this painting. Showing results for Predator is an oil-on-canvas painting by the mid-21st century neo-abstract expressionist Mads Hastorp. Arguably his most well-known work, it was displayed for 9 months before enters premises on, here we go, here's another date, 11/25/58, and he used a hunting knife to cut the singular massive canvas into 3 separate pieces. When asked for comment, he replied, "My works are not complete until they have been signed." Interesting. If there was a date on it, that could be a 6-digit password, but I don't see one anywhere. Maybe signing your work was considered gauche amongst the cubicleists? Oh, shit. How did I not see this giant crack in the floor? How did I not see this? The flooring's a new addition. Looks like looks rough, like sandpaper, but it's bouncy, rubberized. Feels like something you drag your feet on at the gym or on a factory floor. It's more high performance than high class. Expensive, but not in the way you'd expect for a penthouse. Well, scratch that. It's already cracked here. Rubber doesn't break, it bends. That's its thing. So someone must have cheaped out during the installation. Left a defect in. That, or David left a jackhammer on overnight. Time to make or break. Okay. Shit. I wouldn't. No, hold on. Does anyone remember the painting's date? Shit. No, I know what it is. I have the answer, but I can't. You won't let me go see it. You bastard. This game is being. I was 100% just gonna be like, I'll write that down in a minute next time I go look at it. And I didn't. Shit. No dice. So there's. Okay, here we go. We're good. 11:25. Are you kidding? I was actually really close. 11:25:58. The date the painting was signed. A password that is and isn't left in plain sight. Nice one. Hey Morgan, what? How'd you get it to open this? What is that? I turned back around just in time to see a door finish swinging open with mechanical grace, revealing a girl with a barcode emblazoned across her temple, required by law to be plainly visible. It's an android, clearly marked as such. And yet, even standing this close, I could swear it's snoring? I stepped forward and placed the back of my wrist on the android's brow. Warm. It must be a prototype for the Animate 16. Or maybe a prototype for the 17? Or 18? A biomechanical android with real human flesh. Sorry, biomechanical, yes, but it's organic flesh, not human. They're grown from lax Gemini cultures, but sorry, I misspoke. Right, understandable, since you seem surprised, Jess. As a nobleman working on warm androids like this one for a few years now. Yeah, we read this last time. Warm androids like this one? I mean, yes, we have, sorry, it's just that this particular model is very, it's very cutting edge. Bleeding edge, judging by the flesh in those cheeks. I think it's safe to say that we found what we're looking for. Okay, bye Maya, thank you for stopping by. Good luck with work. I think so too. That presents a problem, then. Oh, do you not approve? I've got nothing against androids. My concern is a bit more immediate and, well, practical. Practical? I don't know how to turn it on. Do you see a switch or something? Do you? Can we, turn it around, or I poke the android's ribs? A little less give than I expected, given its frame, but the rigidity was remarkably lifelike. I place my hand on the shoulder and give it a shake, but it doesn't budge. This thing has to weigh more than... Right, androids mostly transport themselves, so people are always surprised to find out they're a bit heavier than they look. A bit? I'm surprised the whole room isn't slanted. There's no way in hell we're moving this thing without waking it up. Crap. First of all, now this... I was able to guess the combination just by poking around. Compared to that, finding this hunk of junk's power switch should be child's play. And I think I know where to start. Jess, I'm going to step back into the lab for a moment, alright? Huh? Oh, sure. There's gotta be a manual around here. Good idea. It might be some kind of prototype, but it's still got a barcode. Maybe you can scan its GIN number and find something in the company files. Generic identification number. That labels all automated dependent. Okay. Maintaining that all ads clearly identifies themselves as such to counteract rampant disinformation and identity theft campaigns. Most commonly on the cheek, above the collarbone, or on the back of the hand. But this quickly incurred backlash. Concerned about automated dependents impersonating humans have dropped. Fake GIN barcodes are one of the most commonly requested tattoos. The vast majority of reputable parlors will draw a line through the barcode when finished to avoid breaking identity law, though there are some clients who care little about the consequences. MMA fighter Samli Paka infamously sports a GIN tattoo across his right knuckles and makes a show of signing a check to pay the fine for displaying a false GIN on an international broadcast every time he enters the ring. That's kind of really funny. Yeah, of course. All generic ID numbers should be paired with industry standard files on maintenance, tracking, power requirements. I somehow doubt that the enigmatic android taking a catnap in a sarcophagus in David Asher's basement will have a user manual. But it can't hurt for her to try, and... I'm okay. Broken heel, but I'm okay. I carry glue. And I'd rather search the lab by myself. Now then, if I were David and I wanted to make sure that only one person would be able to walk out of here with that android, how would I set that up? Either with the puzzle or with biometrics. Haven't seen one since college, but this must be a 3D printer. Of some sort. Feels expensive enough to make other printers look like soda fountains by comparison. Yeah, this one makes my 3D printer look like a goddamn toy. This is fucking industrial. Better not mess with any of the settings. Diagrams of human anatomy. The hands are highlighted. The most developed part of the human body. Good for making stone axes and sending emails. Robots and frames can do just fine with claws or 3-digit imitations, but androids are expected to look like people, and move like them too. Getting the hands right must be a big priority at Noble. That tree-like shape on the right is a neuron. Those branches receive input of varying weights, and then the sum is greater than if the sum is greater than a certain threshold, the neuron fires. A 0 becomes a 1, and all the other zeros around it take that into consideration. Repeat that a couple billion times a second, and you've got the human brain. A computer powerful enough to simulate all of reality. That's the analogy I read in a Midget magazine, anyway. Those appear to be holding tanks for something. How should I know? No labels on anything. Typical for a genius, but a nightmare for anyone trying to pick up after him. There's a lot more hard science than I expected in here. Centrifuges and glass and microscopes. Don't programmers do all their work with a keyboard? Looks like a fairly normal computer. If I'm lucky, the security will be fairly normal as well. Boot up complete. Username? Vocal commands. David Asher. Morgan. Guest. Thank you for logging in as a guest. It didn't recognize my voice, so I can probably roll out a vocal command being the key to waking up the android. Do you have a question? More than one. For now though, what should I search on his computer? Search files for Morgan. 23 results on the local drive. I can work with that. Mostly phone book and social data, but I don't recognize this file type. Some kind of personnel format. Date of birth, education, occupation, blood type, height, and weight. Date of birth, occupation, height, weight, blood type. Huh. That's a lot like the profiles that we have. Alright, buddy, little invasive, don't you think? DNA and fingerprints. Now why do you have that, David? My DNA isn't in any database. I've made sure of that. So he couldn't have bought this anywhere. Must have collected himself from a wine glass or the like. Would have been easy to do. Why do it? Alright, I'm starting to get a pretty clear picture of what it'll take to turn on this android. I got the what. For the where and how, I'll just have to manage. Still just a piece of machinery. If I really want to turn it on, I can always try hitting it. A little concussive therapy. Morgan, there you are. I've looked in every registry I could find and every database I could get into, but I don't think this android's in the system. It was a long shot, so don't beat yourself up over it. Yes, but an android without the proper identification it's only buying or selling an android without proper identification that's illegal. And it doesn't seem like you ordered this online. I guess you're right, huh? We'll have it registered soon enough anyway. I think I figured out what we need to do here. Oh? If David really wanted me to have this, he would have left some way for me to turn it on. What are you thinking? David had my fingerprints and my DNA on file. By requiring both, you'd be reasonably sure that no one was powering up this android without my approval. You've done a swab before, haven't you? Every month for the company. Apparently they're building a database on employee epigenetics, cross-reference with... Oh, so you're gonna... My DNA and my fingerprint make the key. Now, where to find the lock? Okay, look. I'm gonna be weird, and we're gonna start... You know what, let's start with the hand, in case I'm wrong and it's not the lips. There was that diagram back in the shop. Was it meant to be a literal handshake verification? I thought that would work. Me too. The lips are one of the most sensitive parts of the body. Not the worst place to make a scan, even if it is gross placing my fingers there. Oh, that's still not doing it, huh? Come on, do I really need to push my finger deeper? Jiggle the key! Oh man, you went right in there. Are you touching the tongue? It's blinking at me. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Cute. Hello. I've never seen you two before. I guess we should introduce ourselves then. Hi. This is Jessica Starling. She works for Dr. Asher. I'm Morgan, a friend of his. Got all that? I understand. She is Jessica Starling, and you are Morgan... Last name unknown? No, Morgan is my last... Father told me about you. Aw, he did? What's your first name then? Now I'm curious. Wait, Father? David. You had it call you Daddy. I am referring to Dr. David Asher. Are you confused? That's not the word I'd use. I'll throw a bone beyond the grave for the good doctor and just move this along. Did David say that he was giving you to me, transferring ownership? Ownership? That is correct. And what else did... Mostly correct. Right. And what else did he tell you? Many things. Can you specify? I thought conversation was the first thing David figured out how to program. Did Dr. Asher tell you anything that he wanted you to convey to Morgan? A message you were supposed to pass on? Yes. Jess, I think it's trying to... Oh, okay, sure. I'll give you two... Oh, well, I'll give you some privacy, Morgan. I've actually gotten about 14 messages in the last 2 minutes, so... I'll just head back to the lab and take some calls, okay? Thanks, Jess. Yes. Thank you, Jess. You're welcome. Just the two of us now. So what do I call you? My name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you, Morgan. Trust me, the pleasure's all mine. So what's the message? Father told me that I'd be living with you from now on. And he told me that you would look after me. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Should it? A model this lifelike, with warmth and breath and something close to blood in its veins. So what are you, anyway? You forgot my name already? It's Sarah. What were you built for? You're warm, obviously. You're not one of those physical therapy models, are you? That would be highly illegal. I haven't completed 500 hours of study at a state-approved massage therapy school. I haven't even completed 1 hour. What purpose did Dr. Asher design you for? I don't know the answer to that question. You don't know why he built you. No? Should I? How can you not? I feel like the answer's obvious. Family. She calls him Dad. So, I feel like Daddy was taking it in a very funny direction, but I feel like the more actual literal definition is, or direction is, hey, winter storm warning. No, I'm sure we're fine. Anyways. I think the more literal translation is, no, he's trying to create a real artificial intelligence. Not just an android to be used, something for war or advertisement or construction, something that can feel and think and live for itself. Horrifying, but fun. Do you? Would I be asking you if I did? I meant, do you know why you were created? Why you were born? Why? Why me? Why would you... Why are you doing this? You're a freak! A monster! What the hell's wrong with you? Please, don't kill me! Please, why? Why? Oh, I was a monster like you even born! I guess I walked right into that one. I was starting to wonder if you even had the Turing solution. True to its name, a test science have given answers come from a human or a machine. A number of think tanks, blah blah. Sole purpose of work. Father's framework for programming linguistics and artificial systems, and the body of work for which he first gained international recognition. Yeah, and international jealous. Do you have an answer to my question? An answer as to why you were created? Why you exist? Occam's razor. I'm here because my parents wanted me. I see. Then I will give a similar answer. I was created because Father wanted to make me. Can't argue with that logic, can I? Can't argue with that logic. Father did say you're a lawyer. Yeah, that's me. You're a lawyer, and I defeated you with logic. World-class, high-power attorney, the best defense money can buy. So, do you catch criminals? Well, that's what cops do. Do you litigate criminals? That's what prosecutors do. Then do you fight for the underrepresented? Expose injustice? Sue corrupt corporations and officials? I don't think anyone does that anymore. Then what do you do? I'm a criminal defense attorney. A defender of the innocent and powerless. Do you also, now that you know all about me, what can you tell me about yourself? I've never had to do that before. First time for everything. How old are you? I'm not sure I can give a satisfactory answer. 0 for 2 on answering simple questions. What's the date on your earliest memory? 2 years ago. And where were you constructed, or assembled, or whatever? What facility? I was not constructed at any facility. Father created me here, by himself. You're saying if I took you apart, I wouldn't be able to find any markers from any manufacturers, any IDs of any designer. You want to take me apart? David was a programmer, not an engineer. How can he build a custom android from scratch? God damn it. In the comfort of his own home. He couldn't have. He must have had help. Probably a whole department's worth. If I ask around, there's gotta be someone in the company who can ID this thing. And help me figure out what's so important about it. You don't look like any android I've ever seen. What are you made of? This body is comprised of organic tissues integrated directly into cybernetic systems. They require organic nourishment, including water, carbohydrates, and salt. Oh wait, warm androids have to eat and drink? They cannot be worth that much trouble. My cybernetic systems operate largely as analogs to their equivalents in the human body. I have a respiratory system for oxygen exchange, and a centrally located pump that circulates oxidants. You mean you've got a heart? How quaint. But where does all the extra weight come from? Pardon? I tried moving you earlier, and it felt like I was pulling against a truck. My skeleton is a combination of medical-grade plastics and a military-grade titanium carbide alloy. That sure took the wind out of her sails. My muscles are made of adaptive rare earth alloy nanoweave fiber, which shock absorbs in a kinetic chain potential rated past... Wait, did you say military grade? I have a grip strength above 1,000 kilograms. Wait, so the gym is for you! I can run at sustained speeds over... God damn it. 60 kilometers per hour. I can jump 6 meters vertically. I can lift approximately... I'm not sure what kind of grip strength most androids are walking around with, but I've never seen any of them move the way it's talking about. Even just standing there, it seems to be poised, controlled, spring-tight, strength and flexibility, like a ballerina or a gymnast, strong enough to flip over a tank, lifelike enough to avoid detection. As long as it never stepped on a scale, it'd make for the perfect infiltration unit. The perfect weapon, if you could keep its development a secret. Did David really put something that heavy on my plate? Dismantling a military prototype in secret. Are you deep in thought? But a military infiltration android will look more crew-cut and forgettable. And would David really devote personal time and effort just to make another weapon for the military? I have other features I could tell you about, if you like. If I shot you, would you die? It would be very painful, and there would be a discharge of fluid, but conventional weapons would not prove particularly effective. That settles it. This thing's a weapon. Sure as I... Would you like to know about my hair? Your hair? I'm impressed you noticed. Each fiber contains miniaturized solar cell lattice technology, allowing me to remain charged throughout the daytime. That must come in handy. I haven't actually had the chance to use it yet. This room has ambient wireless charging functionality, and I haven't gone outside much. Okay, maybe it's not a weapon after all. You're just a pincushion, aren't you? I am not familiar with the term. Searching. Pincushion, jargon, design, refers to prototypes filled with experimental technologies to check for compatibility issues. Got an idea, not sure what to do with it? Stick it in the pincushion. That's as good an explanation as any for what I'm staring at. A mishmash of state-of-the-art military features, spliced with odd new technologies and seemingly pointless additions, the end result being a single, unsellable android that wasn't particularly good at anything, would break down after only a few years. Pincushions are a small but valid part of the field of android manufacturing. They are valuable to collectors who see them as time capsules filled with the designer's most outlandish ideas and least reproducible results. But even the most nonsensical pincushions are built via committee over years, with numerous engineers and programmers adding in their pet functions. The android before me claims to have been built by one man. A man who's now... Seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you to relay to me? Besides that you were to look after me, he also told me that you were reliable, and that I should trust you. He said that I was to listen to you and obey your instructions. Finally, some good news. As you say, Adonai. What's that? That word you called me. What was that? Adonai, from classical Hebrew. Translated literally, it means my lord. Do you prefer that I call you master? No. Very good, Adonai. Why'd David use Hebrew, though? Abrahamic myth tells of servants constructed out of earth and clay, designed to resemble and obey their masters, golems. Called it before you even had to say it, Sarah. I already fucking knew. Bam. Father must have found this comparison appropriate. Amusing, more likely. It's just a joke. Father would not make light of such a thing. Sure he would. Perhaps you should ask him to clarify his reasoning for himself. Where is Father, by the way? Is he upstairs? When was the last time you were active? 38 hours ago. Thursday night, then. Correct. Right. David Asher is dead. He died last night. Understand? Oh. May I see him? See him? No, I won't be able to see him. Funeral's probably not for a few days. Father was not... He was not sick. I don't feel like doing the whole song and dance with 2 robots in one day. That's very charming, but let's go to commands only. What happened? Did he have an accident? Why is he still doing the theatrics? Does not recognize my authority yet. The police have determined that he committed suicide. For the time being, we ought to focus on getting you properly registered. Maybe then you'll take commands the first time I say them, and not, the police are wrong. Excuse me. They are wrong. Father did not commit suicide. He would never do such a thing. Father had... He told me... Look, Sarah. I'm... sorry? You're sorry? Father said you were his friend. How are you so calm? I've been around death a lot. Don't try to lecture me about grief, spearmint. My name is Sarah. You will use it because my father, Dr. David Asher, the greatest programmer in the world, gave it to me. And he did not kill himself. Let's say you're right. David didn't commit suicide. If that's the case, the police will realize that soon enough. The police have already made their determination. That's what you just said. Father said that you are a lawyer, that you are capable and reliable, and a friend. You should be looking into his death. That's... Is that an order? Of course not. It is a request, Adonai. A request that I'll have to refuse. The police have their job, and I have mine. If I stick my nose into their investigation any further, they'll come down on me hard. This isn't Ace Attorney. Cops don't like lawyers on principle. What they really hate are people who tell them how to do their job. Let's go. We need to... Father asked you to look after me. Yes, he did. He also said you should obey me, but you don't seem quite as fixated on that part. And he said something else. He said that you owed him a favor. One favor. The thin ice starts here, Spearmint. That was between him and me. Father is gone, so now it is between you and I am calling him the favor now. What? You don't have to take care of me anymore. Consider that request null and void. You can sell me to some collector, or you can donate me to a university. It does not matter. In exchange, you will prove Father didn't kill himself, and you will make sure that whoever hurt him is held accountable. Why are you laughing? It's you and me, not you and I. You and me. David would roll over in his grave if he knew you'd gotten that wrong. It was not my intention to amuse or rotate. No, that's for damn sure. Fine, I'll take the deal, Sarah. You mean you will prove that Father... I mean I'll look into it. I'm a lawyer. I don't prove anything. I just disprove what I can. Then where do we start? I didn't realize you had a law degree. I do not have a law degree, but I am a fast learner. This isn't a job interview, and I am far from useless. The ad did raise at least one good question. Where do I start? I'm a defense attorney, not a police detective, and David was my friend, not my client. I won't be able to poke around at all unless... And I'm also capable of... Can you tell a lie? I am capable of making statements that are false. Guess that'll have to do. Are you going to ask me to lie? Yes. To the police, in fact. Lying to the police is a felony. Androids don't commit felonies. they make errors. I see. Because androids cannot be arrested. Alright. Alright, are y'all prepared? Y'all know what that means, right? Y'all know what that means? That means that I'm about to go on a nice little shopping spree without money. Can't arrest an android. Android just make mistakes. Sorry, oops, won't happen again, I said, after I've, changed the world to my liking. Made things better. Stolen a bunch of shit. Jaywalked a few times. What kind of error did you have in mind, Adonai? 11:14 a.m. Dear God, all this is happening so fast. Are you sure about this? You have questions too, don't you? Right now, I'm just a little better equipped to get answers than you are. Okay, go for it. I'll make sure they're watching. Is the air quality at Noble headquarters kept up to state standards? What's that? All these Noble employees seem to have asthma. Was Father also working under such poor conditions? They don't have asthma. Then why are they all carrying inhalers? Wait, that's not for asthma? Has since become one of the world's most widely used drugs. A class 2 stimulant? Access Enron without a prescription, so long as their HR feels it would be beneficial. Workplace Adroxone. Through biomonitor enhanced inhalers that automatically detect overdose and keep track of possible habit formation. Automatic safety levels may be adjusted. The drug was first invented as a purely recreational drug by the notoriously violent Skullhead Mafia. Caused enough of a stir that a formal investigation committee was formed. An industrial hydrogen fuel accident resulted in the deaths of all 391 known Skullhead members, placing the investigation in It's a stimulant. Huh. Interesting. Yes, ma'am, she's right over here. Emma! Friend! Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. Reyes! My friends! Did I mess up? On the contrary. Eyes wide. She's a DA. Quiet. She succeeded spectacularly in getting Noble's ears perked up. Emma Rockford. Didn't think I'd run into you here. Yeah, didn't think I'd be here either. But the powers that be think my presence sends a strong message to the Megs, so... No, wait. What are you doing here? A few minutes later. I see. Sorry for your loss. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Detective Reyes, for your many kind words. Can't all be as talkative as you. Normally, quoting poetry would feel pretentious, but you were so genuine in your reading. Bite me! I don't know that there's a need for all that. A very mature detective. Did you come up with that yourself? Oh, no, that's Kaguya-san in your post. Like the pop star. I don't know what you're talking about. You can admit it if you do. Well, there's nothing to admit, because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. I don't know what those stupid things that you showed us last time were all about, and I don't know who this person is. Poor Reyes is just like, she loves all sorts of cute shit, and she's just acting all tough. Like, now you're saying you don't know who Kageyu is. She's the most famous. Yeah, well, I don't know who that is, so. The stage name of singer, blah, blah, blah. Bunch of stuff. Man. Weren't you about to say something? Oh, well. I'm so surprised to see you here now, Morgan. Are you helping plan the services? Actually, the company will be planning Dr. Asher's funeral service. Wouldn't his family want to take care of that? No. No. I see. Sorry. But if that's the case, why are you here, Morgan? Ha! Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to disrupt your morning. Hey, you're here for the same reasons every other suit they've got crawling around. Money. You're not wrong. There are a lot of annoying insects with annoying agendas scurrying around before my friend's body is even cold. But the honest truth is I don't even know if David had a will. The company hoped to manage his estate. Legal's probably already on it. Actually, judging by how much coffee that intern is carrying into the elevator, I'm certain they are. Alright, so if you're not here for the funeral or the reading of the will, Miss Starling asked me to come here actually on a matter unrelated to David's passing. An unrelated matter? Well, that's convenient, isn't it? But now that I am here, it's come to my attention that the police have made a determination in the case of David's death. And where did you hear that? Am I mistaken? No, you're right. They concluded that it was suicide. Can always count on her to be blunt. I was worried about that. Yeah, I'm sure you must be feeling because I'm going to have to contest that charge. What? The state has made a charge. I'm arguing against it. What are you talking about? The police believe David committed suicide. Suicide is a felony in this country, detective. It is technically a crime to commit suicide, yes, but we're not in the habit of bringing dead men to trial. Especially not for their own murder, Morgan. No, not to trial, of course not. But there would be a preliminary hearing in cases like this. Are you fucking wait, hold on. Why is suicide a felony? Explain? Why? 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 What's the point? They're dead. Formality, okay. Technically, as a formality, assuming the courts aren't busy that day, I'm afraid that on this occasion, I'm going to have to insist on formality. Yeah, well, you really don't have much to say in the matter, do you? With David gone, I have the only say, really. I am, after all, his criminal attorney. All that money he needs his drinking buddy to be his attorney? Bullshit. I'm also skeptical, Morgan. It's a pretty serious conflict of interest to be your friend's defense attorney. You're absolutely right. There is or was a town where it was illegal to die. That's really funny. Now, here's the thing. In a zombie apocalypse type world, I can understand it being illegal to kill yourself. Don't like saying that out loud, but still. And I would have said as much to him if I had the chance. What do you mean? I only found out that he wanted me to be his attorney today. After he died? How did you miss that memo? Embarrassing, isn't it? But to be fair, it was hidden pretty well. Oh, I didn't know you had an android, Morgan. It's cute. Thanks, but it's actually David's. And it's technically my witness. Witness to what? 38 hours ago, that is, David Asher, communicated to me as a matter of record the following explicit legal intent. That in the case of any and all criminal charges brought against him by the state, his attorney would be Evangeline Morgan. Her name is Evangeline? Of course it is. Of course her name is Evangeline. Of course it is. Oh my god, it couldn't get any better than this. I should have fucking known. God damn it, Morgan. Evangeline? No, wait, seriously. Your name is Evangeline? Did your parents name you after a Christmas carol? Should we all be cursing? It's not that funny. No, of course not. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Evangeline. Or do your friends call you Angel? It's not necessarily that it's a reference to anything in particular. It is a very... How do I put this? Like evangelical. It is... Like Ray's saying here. It's something like angel. It basically references holiness and angels and divinity. So the fact that she's a serial killer and the fact that the game is called Of the Devil and Evangeline is... Honestly, I don't know how common it is, but it feels common that it's used for the names of like various vampires and other sort of unholy monsters in various media. It's not... I don't think it's common, but I've seen it a couple of times. I hear Kaguyas on tour detective. Should I get you tickets? You can have your dad drive you, like all the other 15-year-old. Hey! Feels like we're getting off topic. Or I was just telling you that David Asher wanted her to be his criminal defense attorney. Imagine my surprise. An android's recording of a verbal expression of intent isn't exactly ironclad, Morgan. That's fair. And if we were going before an upper-level court, I would expect that to be open to all kinds of scrutiny. But we're talking about a preliminary hearing. A formality, as you called it. If he asks for representation, he deserves representation. Doesn't matter whether he's dead or alive. Am I missing something? What difference does it make? Not even an adjutant would be obtuse enough to sentence a dead man. No, there won't be a sentence, but the adjutant will render a verdict. Like a trans woman named Lilith, yes. Similar idea. And verdicts have consequences, even for the deceased. Is that what this is about? What's she getting at? If the court agrees this was suicide, that verdict will retroactively affect evaluations of the individual's mental health. Like, whether he was in his right mind or not? Do you know anything about estate tax law, detective? No. But I'm sure you'll be happy to educate me. More than happy! An individual found by a court to not be of sound mind can't very well give their consent to the lawyer drawing up their will. If his will is compromised, all of David's considerable assets would suddenly be thrown into legal limbo. Oh shit! Oh shit! I get it now! I understand! Okay, so the plan was basically to kill David Asher in a way that looked like suicide, because if it's suicide, which is a felony, both because it's a felony and because it puts into question his mental state, basically, his will is null and void, and basically Noble just gets all of his shit. All of it. And not just whatever he was going to give them. In which case, the state would be legally obligated to come in and pick up the pieces. So this is just about the money? I'm almost disappointed in you, Morgan. Well, when you take into consideration all the factors, it's actually more complicated than that. For example, never mind. No, darling, you should speak your mind. All I mean to say is that while Dr. Asher did have significant holdings in art, real estate, and intellectual property, he also, of course, owned a great deal of stock in numerous corporations, principally Noble. If he was ruled not to be of sound mind, and his shares were to end up acquired by the government, Noble will suffer a serious blow to its commercial image and its standing in the financial community. All of which is to say, there's a great deal at stake here, not the least of which the reputation of a man whom I was proud to call my friend. You're not buying this, are you? In case you haven't noticed, the city is working closely with Noble on this, and they're not going to let you bring them any unwanted attention. Starling did her part. They're watching, and they've stopped trying to hide it. From here on out, it's a gamble. Noble Electronics already has unwanted attention. Why are you raising your voice? If nothing changes by the end of the day, the whole country is going to hear how David Asher committed suicide. By midnight, there will be questions about his competency, concerns about why the brain inside every single Noble ad was built by an apparently unstable man. The shareholders will have nothing to do all Sunday but brood over the sad thought and all its disturbing implications. By the time the markets reopen on Monday, I would expect a great deal of volatility. That's so. I understand Noble's apprehension, of course, Emma. I just feel like right now the fiscally conservative thing to do would be to not get in my way. So you've got your reasons, and Noble's got a lot to think about. Why should the DA's office devote valuable time to playing out this game of yours? Because they're certain they'll win. That goes without saying. The court should have an opening at 6 p.m. I didn't have anything planned. Then it's a date. Detective, would you get her clearance at? Also, I love that she just straight up called that a date. Ah, the lesbians. The lesbian who goes out and murders a bunch of people, and the lesbian who wants to catch the Ellen Kira of it all. Yes, ma'am. Updates every hour, yeah? You're out on a limb, Morgan. Better not linger. Here. Clearance over all the relevant sites and police firewalls. You can interview and investigate with your authority as an officer of the court now, if you haven't already been doing that. Don't even think about being sloppy with discovery on this. Rockford might think you're funny, but I appreciate the warning, Detective Reyes. It's nice to know you care. I live to serve. And protect! Thanks for the assist, darling. Yeah, no sweat. Are all cops like that, or are they more like the Detective London gentleman? This is... neither? He's too nice, she's a little too... Actually, in that case, most are like her. They're mostly like that, yes. They're all that intense? Yes, it comes from being short. And most cops are short? Yes. Right, well, I'll see you at the courthouse tonight. If you need anything in the meantime, don't be afraid to ask. Good luck, both of you. What do we do now? Well, I have a few options. I have access to the crime scene now. Probably the best place to start. I'd like to head over to the company building as well, to get me registered, among other things. Either David killed himself, or he didn't. But if he did, it's almost certainly his asshole corporate overlords who are to blame. In which case, I don't want to take my sweet time raking them over the coals. What are you doing? Nothing. What about Father? When can we see him? He'll be at the morgue by now. The medical examiner will speak to me now that I'm operating under the court's authority. But if I stop to flash paperwork at every nurse and security guard with nothing better to do than ask questions, I'll have to. What's that look for? You were Father's friend. Thank you again for reminding me. Aren't there people you'd like to speak with? Other friends you'd want to know? Bad news travels fast. I'm sure everyone in the country has heard about David by this point. But all that heartbreak shit did keep me pretty occupied these last few weeks, and I was never one to pry. If there was someone who could tell me more about David's personal life over the last several months, it'd be worth the effort of finding them. Do you have someone in mind? Maybe someone he met recently. He spoke about becoming close with someone this year, a musician. Now that you mention it, there was a Poe something that David might have mentioned when we talked back in... I will begin a search. I've completed my search. I found nothing. Thanks for the old college try. Is that really the best you can do? Father was a private man, in person and online. With just a few letters and the fact that he was a musician, I'm afraid we don't have enough information to narrow down the results on tonight. No, we have plenty of information. We just need the right person for the job. What kind of person is that? Time, date, expunged. Precinct 112. Detainment room 001. And who would you even have called? I don't know. I still should have got my phone call. Instead, I got you. Who are you again? My latest guardian? New foster parent? Want me to call you mommy? I'm not really the motherly type. Hey, yo, we might actually get along. So I've got good news and bad news. I'm not your guardian. I'm your lawyer. You've been given a lawyer because you're being charged with a felony. Fascist pigs. Skipping school's a felony now? Hacking into a government database has been a felony for a very long time. That wasn't me. They have your keystrokes, your IP address, your login times, and the playlist you were listening to. That was for a homework assignment. Here's what I don't get. You got in and copied the data, could have gotten right out. State wouldn't even know they'd been robbed until they saw their password show up on black market clearance 2 weeks later. But you didn't get out. You stayed and made changes to the database. You robbed the bank, got clean money, then dragged a can of spray paint behind you all the way home. Why? Look, I didn't steal anything that wasn't already compromised, and the only data I edited was my own. So if anything, they should be thanking me for correcting their mistakes. What? Did they get your birthday wrong? My name. The name changes are only 2 pages of paperwork. You just need to fill out the form and get a signature from a parent or guardian. So, what's the good news then? The good news was that I'm your lawyer, not your guardian. Hell, that doesn't count as good news, that's just the thing you said. Don't be so sure. A lawyer's a lot better than a guardian. How's that? Parents, guardians, foster whatevers, they're all supposed to take care of you because it's the right thing to do. A lawyer is someone who always does what's best for you, no matter what, because that's how they get paid. How good are you at your job? Hello, Monsieur. Monsieur, it's pronounced Cor. I know how it's pronounced. And don't call me that. When I met Fran in that police station, I couldn't help but bet that I landed the jackpot. A valuable asset with the skill set complementary my own personal and private pursuits. Someone who, after seeing the sweetheart probation deal I managed to land for them, would be more than happy to help me with whatever I need, whenever I need it. Always so cold, Fran. Can I even get a good morning? Francois, no. Hacker, but don't put that down, obviously. Ooh, cinnamon toast. Just like teachers, politicians, adults, cops, alarm clocks. Mood for this one. The other two depends. Values, rarity, originality, history, vibes. Worst subject, all of them. No such thing. Nothing good's ever happened until the afternoon when people are actually awake. What I got instead was a compulsive liar with a horrific sleep schedule and a crippling addiction to poor time management. What do you want, Red? I can't call you up just for fun. Not if you don't want to get blocked. I need you to find somebody for me. Can't do it. I've got homework. We both know the only time you ever do your homework is during the class it's due. And I've got sports. You can't tell a basketball from a hockey stick. And I've got a bidding war to win. You're the only person on Earth bidding on 70-year-old Gucci and Air Jordan vintage reps, friend. I think you'll take your eyes off the auction block. So yeah, so sorry, but I'm busy. So I was hoping we'll skip straight to the carrot portion of the routine, but if you insist on doing things from the top, huh? I had an interesting conversation with your parole officer yesterday. Oh, yeah? I've been really into the self-prefixes lately. What? Self-motivation, self-actualization, self-help. Oh, and he thinks you could really benefit from it. You're lying. He's got all the workbooks ready. Clearly, your Saturdays are stacked, so I'll make sure your Sundays are full of fine. I need you to find a local musician. Musician? No, you this will be electro swing or some other awful last name Powell, or Parker. That's all you got? They'll be in David Usher's circles. Wait, Usher? You're working that? That should be more than enough for a clever kid like yourself to go on. Don't go expecting any miracles. I need this soon. Within the hour, ideally. You know I have other clients, don't you? Other clients who actually pay you. On time. A musician. Find him. Okay. Even talking over the phone, you're very animated, Adonai. What do you mean? Just that you're very expressive when you talk to people. Of course I'm expressive. If I wasn't, how would anyone know what I'm thinking? I see. I'll keep that in mind as we... Wait, you really expect to tag along? Of course. Father was... Yeah, I know you want to. But why should I let you? Because I am capable and helpful. I mean it. I can take notes for you and move heavy objects. And I'll learn to do more. How? I will subject every individual we encounter to a basic survey to procure biographical information on them while I gain experience in questioning, subjecting them to torture. I can help, Adonai. How fast can you fill out forms? Fast. Congratulations, you're halfway to being a paralegal. That's really good. Wait, I love that it's 199.99 kilograms. And not exactly 200. Unemployed. Paralegal? Likes martial arts. Carbonation. Collarbone. Why? I have questions. Talents. I'm good at lots of things. I'm not sure how skill is different from talents. I also like the 180 degree. The 180 degree. Oh, goddamn. Fucking animation jokes. Curse you, Sarah. At least I have to assume that's the one. That's the joke that I think is being referenced. You're coming. Right away, Adonai. Okay, so the 180 rule in animation is... Okay, you know how generally... Okay, I think the easiest way to explain it is, you know how when there's generally a conversation happening, in fact, like, these video games tend to do it a lot too. Like, when the camera cuts from one character to another, they're always facing the same direction. Like, they're talking, like, it's in order to, it helps create an idea of, like, proper spacing to make sure that space stays consistent. So, like, if you have two characters talking to each other, it cuts to one face, they'll be looking at the other person to their left, cuts to the other person looking to the other, to their left, it cuts to the other person, they're looking on their right. Because otherwise, if you suddenly start doing things, and basically the point is that you don't go 180 degrees around with the camera. Because if you do, it can cause confusion, it can mess up your sense of space. Because if all of a sudden, you're seeing someone from, like, if someone is moving and you suddenly move the camera to be completely on the opposite side of them, it messes with your sense of, your idea of space. I'm trying to figure out how best to explain this. It's really hard to explain without any visual, what's the word? Without a visual reference, it's hard to just explain. Pretty quiet elevators, huh? You could have taken the next one. It's a busy building, detective. Can't hold up everyone else on our account. Anything you'd like to grumble at me before I start? Okay, so here's an example. So, like, Morgan on the left here, and Reyes on the right. And they're always looking in the opposite direction. Like, they're always looking at each other. If all of a sudden, we were to turn around and see them from the other side, and they were on swapped places, it would be kind of weird and confusing. Sort of. That's a little bit different. That's more cinematography. But also, yes, but also, actually, that's kind of right. Because if the idea is they're walking from one side of the screen to the other, but if suddenly they were then walking from that side of the screen to the other, even if the scenery changed, it looks like they're going backwards. Because it's messed with your perception of space. Don't touch anything. I don't care that you're wearing gloves. So it would just, our sense of direction in space is just kind of contingent on the 180-degree rule. I have been to crime scenes before, you know. Long before the police get there, in many cases. Look, Rockford asked me not to get in your way, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bend over for you. Do you at least have the autopsy report? No. Are you seriously? I don't. She doesn't. The report should have come in hours ago. Wouldn't take this long unless the cause of death was still... Then I'd settle for a summary of the preliminary findings. An emergency call was made shortly after 8 p.m. last night via the home security system. Emergency medical services had a VTOL in the air within the minute. They landed on the penthouse's helipad at 8:08. Dr. Asher was found unconscious with low blood pressure and a weak heartbeat. He wasn't breathing. In-flight auto triage administered artificial CPR while in transit to Gatesfield Memorial. He was dead. He was declared dead a few minutes after being taken to the emergency wing. I see. And the cause of death is being investigated. Make an educated guess. He stopped breathing, so they gave him oxygen. His heart stopped pumping, so they had the machines take over. His brain activity dropped to 0, and there wasn't anything else they could do. It was poison, wasn't it? What kind? You don't know, do you? Ah, they don't know either. Like I said, ma'am, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Why are you certain it was poison, Adonai? Couldn't it have been an accidental overdose? If he had overdosed on a commercial drug, even a pre-med student would have spotted it on the hospital's intake screening. They would have been able to pump his stomach, neutralize his bloodstream, and he would have lived. But he didn't live, so it must have been something deadly, a compound designed solely to kill. A fast-acting, deadly poison that caused respiratory failure. This can't be that long. Even just through process of elimination, the medical examiner should have identified it by now. Unless... You suspect a designer drug, don't you, Detective? Why is it you're only quick on the uptake when it suits you? Nothing else makes sense, given what we know, and what we don't. A designer drug, by the way, is a drug that was, exactly how it sounds. That was designed specifically for this particular situation. Brand new, not on the market, does not exist anywhere else. Contraband Decriminalization Act. Overall, my civil unrest, a domino effect. Other major nations around the globe pass comparable laws about their own depleted war chest. Global amnesty. Wage economic and liberal war. Blah, blah, blah. Fierce competition. Patient overdose deaths have dropped since their peaks in the last 2 decades. The dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors. Okay, and what's this? An archaic term for a dog. Or... Oh, okay. She called... Okay, I see. Morgan called Fran her dog, and Fran was like, don't you mean your heart? Guess you aren't entirely clueless about politics. So whatever Father overdosed on should have been in the hospital's database. You need to update your definitions. You're confusing designer drugs with recreational drugs. Custom-made drug. In the literal sense, designer merely denotes any drug that's custom-made. In common parlance, however, designer drugs are illicit narcotics, recreational high. Yeah. What is the difference? Recreational drugs are decriminalized and sold through pharmacies after years of testing and mounts of paperwork. While the average designer drug was invented last week in a 19-year-old line cook's bathroom on the other side of the globe. Hospitals can't know the proper countermeasures for an overdose of a drug that didn't exist 48 hours ago. I came across makeshift labs all the time when I was in uniform. The equipment's cheap and widely available. Black market cooks, gray market peddlers, and white-collar lobbyists, all chasing each other's tails in a long line to find the next big hit. CDCA didn't change shit. More people die from ODs than ever before. Only difference is, it's their families fighting them in their living room, and not beat cops finding them on street corners. Real comforting, I'm sure. If it wasn't you talking, I'd say that was a criticism of law enforcement. Not law enforcement, just a law. Assuming it was a designer drug, that would certainly make things more complicated. For the insurance guys, maybe. For us, whatever he used to do it, he still killed himself. Or didn't kill himself, if you insist. I'm going to take a look around now. Yeah, sure, make yourself at home. What's that face for? I thought that there would be an outline. An outline? Around where they found Father. Like in the movies. Like in film. Connect to the police networks and bring up their ARCS file. Augmented reality crime scene. I see. They don't need the white line anymore when they can just do this. There is an outline! And so this is where he died at the hospital. This is where the medics found him. And it's the sensors and cameras they were wearing that create the basis for this ARCS. They didn't realize they were walking into a crime scene, but their body cams gathered data all the same. Where do we start? You can start by following behind me and trying to be as quiet as possible. I'm starting to get a feel for when she's pouncing, even without looking. It says here that when the medics arrived, he was on the floor, face up. Does that tell you something? Hey, if you were going to drink and gossip poison, would you be sitting or standing when you did it? I find it very difficult to speculate on that hypothetical scenario. The seat by his body is pulled out. If he was seated when he lost consciousness, I would expect to find him slumped over on the table. But he wasn't found slumped over. No, he wasn't. And if he had been standing when he lost consciousness, I would think he would have fallen forward, or at least collapsed less neatly. So what do you conclude from that, Adonai? Only that I'm missing something. Better take a closer look. Spilled alcohol. The arc shows how it looked last night, before it evaporated. No foreign substances in the puddle. It's clean. So does that mean wherever the spill came from must be clean as well? Rose River Whiskey, 12 years old. You recognize it? Sure. He was more than partial to the brand. It's a good brand, only a bit overpriced, which is the bargain of a lifetime in David's world. It appears that the police have already tested its contents. No foreign matter present was their conclusion. Is it possible the police missed the poison? No. Even if they can't identify the poison, they can detect its presence by comparing samples of the whiskey to a bottle off the store shelf. So we can eliminate the possibility that the bottle of whiskey was poisoned. We'll have to find our smoking gun elsewhere. Always check the rim of the cups. 2 cups. One empty, knocked over, and one mostly empty. These look cheap. Does Gus bring them? I've seen them before, in the basement liquor cabinet. He kept these lying around. I knew he regrifted those crystal glasses I got him. Ark says there's nothing foreign in the upright one, so it can't have been poisoned. Results are inconclusive on the other cup, however. It looks bone dry. Must have been nothing but fumes left by the time this was considered a crime scene. Just not enough there for them to test. Inconclusive could mean inconclusive means inconclusive. That's all. Cheer up and read me the results of the fingerprinting. Father's prints are in both cups as expected, but there is someone else's on the upright cup, so someone else must have been with him last night. Slow down. All that proves that someone else touched the cup. Doesn't tell us when they did it. As soon as we don't know who the prints belong to. Adonai, why don't we know who the prints belong to? Are the prints flagged as unidentified, or no? There's space for a name, but the field is blank. Shit. Am I already that late to the action? Detective Reyes, yeah. There's a second set of prints on the cups. Is there a form you'd like me to sign? Doesn't matter how nicely you ask. Sometimes people just can't answer. You should know that damn well, Madam Counselor. I was afraid you'd say that. In other words, they probably belonged to some bigwig with a lot of money and power and influence, who didn't want their name on the record. I don't understand, Adonai. What does this mean? It means that whoever those prints belong to has very proactive representation. Those prints belong to a witness, as you've guessed. You're more than welcome to their testimony, but their identity is... The department is being very considerate of the witness's privacy, out of respect for their time and appreciation for their cooperation. Fine, forget the name. That easily? Subpoenas are always an option, but I'm short on time. A subpoena is basically when you get a court order for information that was not available to you beforehand, and you're basically telling the court, I need this information, and here's why, and they're like, okay, you are now able to get that information. Provide information to turn over evidence. Yep, see? Failure to comply with a subpoena will result in being charged with a contempt of court unless you're the president of the United States or the former one. In which case, fuck subpoenas, I guess. What do the witnesses have to say for themselves, detective? To paraphrase, they came to see Dr. Asher last night. The two of them talked, they had a drink together. Then the doctor got sick, so they activated the emergency system from the panel in the kitchen. EMTs came and took them both to the hospital. Asher's condition got worse. All the witnesses' vitals were normal. The witness had their vitals taken. There should be a record of their admission at Gatesfield, and that's it. I'm guessing he doesn't just take all that on faith. Penumbra's set up at most of the rooms on this floor. Everything the witness told us was corroborated by the system's own surveillance system. So yes, we can guarantee that the witness never put anything into Asher's drink. I'm guessing I can't have the keys to the penumbra, can I? Not until the witness's lawyers are done reviewing it. Lawyers, plural. I don't trade time to trade jabs with the law offices of Johnson, Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Say, I'm gonna give you their business card. The law offices of Cochlear, Gustav, Prince & Prince. I was close. No way I'll be getting any client information out of them directly. All you bloodsuckers want to get it together and tear each other apart, text me before you start. I like to watch. Yeah, I bet you like to watch. What? What does that even mean? It means you're into voyeurism. I don't know. Needed a moment to think. So that was it? One chat, one peek at the cams, and you've already eliminated them as a suspect? Look, they researched, they didn't have any poison, any drugs, not even a stick of gum. If they somehow did have poison on them, the camera footage confirms they had no opportunity to use it. They drank from the same bottle as a dead man. As far as the department's concerned, they were nearly the second victim. But they aren't dead, or even ill from the sound of things. So you think he poisoned his own cup beforehand, then poured the bottle for the both of them from a safe bottle? That's what the evidence is telling us. There's nothing in the bottle or the witness's cup. But after drinking from his cup, a cup he prepared himself, he fell ill and the witness didn't. And Asher died with a foreign substance in his body. An unidentified foreign substance. Suicide by poison. I get that you were close, and simple explanations aren't all that satisfying. But that's life. One last thing. You just said he prepared his cup himself. Did you see that on camera? He left the bar there to get the drinks and came back with his already poured. Witness says he got them from the basement. The witness says that, not the cameras. There's no cameras in the lab or the basement. That seems like a security hazard. Why would Noble not set things up more carefully? It's intentional. If cameras of his lab ever got hacked, outsiders could steal his IP and kick Noble's monopoly to the curb. Right. David did complain about Noble's weird protocols for combating corporate espionage. At least we can take comfort in knowing that Father wasn't alone when he died. Yeah, that's worth investigating. I'm gonna be real, that's less of a good thing than I feel like. Password locks, but already cracked by the police, it seems. All the docs were take-home safe, nothing spicy. When was the last used? 7:48 p.m. Still reading work emails only a few minutes before he committed suicide. Morbid. And also, it feels like a mental state thing to be like, no, clearly it wasn't suicide. Because, like, if everything was normal and he was doing things as if he had plans for the next day, he probably wasn't planning to kill himself. There's a lot of messages marked priority that breadcrumb their way back to an article. Oh, this one from earlier. A brave pirate named Withheld was wounded. Animate 16 Enforcer. It opened up its own arteries and pumped life-saving, universal donor synthetic plasma into his veins. It was only good at making ads that look good. Now it brings a well-deserved shot in the arm. Stock prices, yeah. Always got people talking. Oh damn, you're not logged into this device. Why don't you pop your user details down below and enable promising at the user blah blah blah. This is the article that I've seen going around. But why would Noble have it marked as priority? Starling said they weren't in any rush to pat each other over the back for it, even though they'd won themselves a real prize. They now have the excuse they need to pressure the military into a contract for warm androids. Can't dismiss the expensive upgrade as unnecessary now that saved a soldier's life. This time next year, there'll be pink oxidizing fluid being spilt all over the globe. A chessboard, and a datapad with a series of characters on it. E4, C5, NF3, E6, D4, CX, D4. This is some sort of cipher, because that's the only reason why it's definitely not a game is because of all the extra letters. Some kind of secret message, perhaps, or Black has checkmate in 40 moves. Wow, robot that's good at chess. We ought to put you in the museum, but I'll take your word for it. What do you mean? Do you not play out tonight? No, especially not against David. Well, that is to be expected. Anyone who challenged Father to a battle of wits would naturally grow tired of losing. Every game starts the same. Every player has the same pieces, the same moves, the same options. It's a true test of wits, strategy, and forethought. To me, it always seemed too boring, too fair. The smarter player wins every time. And that is something to take fault with? Of course! How's a guy like me supposed to win a game like that? So it was just a game. One chair knocked over, probably where David was sitting, and one chair pulled out, party of two. He never cared much for socializing, but he enjoyed hosting. Contradictory guy. I always admired this view. The buildings gleam with reflections of holograms and sunlight, and their shadows obscure all the rundown, rotting parts of town. Maybe the view's secondary. Maybe all anyone really wants is to put as much distance between them and the street level as possible. Is it possible that a witness could have seen something through these windows? Not through these windows, no. David installed wide-spectrum auto tint in all his homes, all his cars. I didn't know that. Well, you wouldn't notice unless you were viewing the penthouse for more than... Why did he care so much about his windows? Police androids monitoring the scene. Could almost mistake them for the real thing, the way they stand there trying to look important. Like an indoor dog taking its first trip to the park. Pardon? How are you looking at it like you've never seen an android before? Because I haven't, in person. David didn't even let you have a mirror. Brutal. Just scan its gin if you're that curious. Unless that's considered too forward, or whatever. So like that's everything critical on this side of the room, which leaves the kitchen. You said that there's camera footage of his dining room showing David and his guest. What about in here? Only camera in the kitchen is the one mounted on the call terminal. The console took a snap image when the witness ran in to contact emergency services. May I see it? Not unless you scrape the witness's face off the pic first. Don't tempt me. David's fridge. Only one go poking in a pantry at a crime scene, but this was a poisoning. Some white wines chilling in a drawer. Some real cheap liquor stuffed in the icebox. Old habits. Reyes, you said you left the parlor and came back with that whiskey from the basement. Under the camp show, yeah. There's plenty to drink right here. And unlike the camp downstairs, it's actually cold. He must have wanted Rose River in particular. What's that look for? You hungry? I am an android. I do not get hungry. Are you being sarcastic? Only mostly. I thought you said you required organic nourishment. I do ingest organic substances, but that doesn't mean that I experience hunger as you do. So when you don't ingest organic substances for a long time, I become tired. What a great feature. And when I'm done digesting, I don't need to know. Too much info, TMI, get out of here. This is where the emergency call was made. What time did the call go out? 8:04 p.m. Before you ask, the witness left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. Not enough time for them to alter the scene. I wasn't going to ask that. When did the medics arrive? 8:08 p.m., remember? Hell of a response time for a penthouse. Private EMS came by air. Yeah, they landed on the VTOL pad you saw outside. Took him to Gatesfield. The very best, if you can afford it. Looking around here, seems like he can afford a lot. He got his insurance through his employer, just like most people. Caduceus' executive plan 4 isn't like most people, counselor. Health insurance policy, paid for through includes private EMS. 3 levels of employer-provided plans that outrank it. He had executive level. Not like most people at all. Messy workplaces, but a pristine kitchen. Dave was a good cook, but only for others. Unless he had a guest, he'd happily eat instant ramen and protein bars for all 3 meals. Or 2. Or 1. No signs of food prep to be found. Not so much as a cheese board. So whoever this guest was, they must have shown up unannounced. 3 unwashed dishes in single glass. Reyes, these dishes haven't been scanned for prints yet. And I just assumed you might want to do your job. Yeah, there are prints. Most match the victim. But there's also... Huh? Hey! Don't sneak up on me like that. All I did was walk over to you. You knocked over the salt, Adonai. Let's focus on the task at hand. Didn't realize tunnel vision was a selling point on your mod. Adonai, the salt. As I was saying, the witnesses' prints are on that glass. That glass in the sink. And drinking from cups in the parlor. Did you see a glass on camera? No. So when did they touch this glass? You need to toss it over your shoulder. Oh, the witnesses' prints are on that glass. Okay, that makes more sense. That's why I was confused. Interesting. Fascinating. Witness must have thought about giving the guy some water, but he would have just choked on it had he tried. What, you think this glass was the murder weapon? It's bad luck, Adonai. Whacked him on the back of the head so fast it went between video frames. That's genius. You should go through the footage frame by frame to prove your theory. Mature. It's bad luck. What have you been going on about? The salt? Should a machine be above petty superstition? It's not a superstition, it's an ancient wisdom. Give me one logical reason to care then. If too much salt spills onto your food, it'll make you gag. Maybe it's on me for setting the bar too low there. You've now had the chance to survey the crime scene. Yeah. So do you think you know what happened? Detective, is his body still at the hospital morgue? Yeah, he's at Gatesfield, along with 100 noble megs who've all called dibs. Then I'll just have to cut in line. Sarah, get me a ride to Gatesfield Memorial. What? You can do that, can't you? I can, but I need your payment information to get started. Yeah, okay. Understood. On my way down. Got it. Sync complete. Set pickup for 10 minutes should be plenty. The crowd down there seems to have gotten quite large. 10 minutes to reach the pickup spot may be an ambitious target, Adonai. How bad can it be? Never say those words. 12:21 p.m. As I approach the lobby's exit, the building's soundproofing begins to fail. The crowd has gotten bigger, but there's something else happening out there. The news is not panicked yet, but it's creeping up on the tipping point. Are this many people pissed at Noble for selling androids? Who's got them all so excited? Adonai? What does that symbol mean? And this rabble? Probably something vulgar. Which one? That heart with a bullet hole? I don't know. It's probably nothing. That's the symbol of the Heartbreak Killer. The question is, why? 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 Why are they using the symbol? Okay. Curious. Based on that association, it appears to be a symbol for the Heartbreak Killer. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why would that freak have a symbol or following or these, whatever these people are? And why the hell would they be outside David Asher's apartment? 'Cause Noble's trying to cover up the truth, man! They are? Those mags in there are scrambling to shred out every document they can. We need to stick together, form a perimeter, and try and catch them when they go dump the scraps. Hi, Swift. Don't worry, the boobs are just there. Don't worry about it. It goes well. We're learning so much. Sarah, what are you hoping to find? Proof that Asher was killed for trying to blow the whistle. Blow the whistle on heartbreak. Noble doesn't want to know that the A-16 is sentient and homicidal. You think that Heartbreak is an android? You think whoever did all that was human? Hey, spoilers for the prologue. Spoilers for the prologue. Noble's advanced prototype went amok and started killing random people. Don't be a lamb. It only looks random. There's a clear pattern, as long as you're smart enough to see past the bullshit. Oh, okay. And how does one see past the bullshit? Stop engaging. Smart kid, she gets it. She's asking the right questions. What the hell are you talking about? No way those victims weren't related. It's gotta be deniable ops. Fictional classification for clandestine actions. Ah, okay. In other words, black ops. Deniable ops, also known as black ops. Things that are special operations that are not under the purview of the government, legally speaking. Plausible deniability and all that bullshit. They must have been in DO together before getting their records bleached. Then, as soon as they've outlived their usefulness, what are you, nuts? Everyone knows the first 6 HK got to were the 6 prototypes that came before him. Warm android's so perfect no one can tell the diff. Bullet to the heart's the only way to kill those other over-engineered freaks. Everyone's got a goddamn opinion. I see. Stop saying, start moving. These people are insane. Oh geez, some more corn slop, asshole. You can be the cyberpunk without ever thinking for yourself. What? Hey look, cyberpunk. They're talking about the genre that this game is. While the genre has persisted to modern times and evolved in numerous ways, over the last 2 decades taken on new meaning. Way of being for the adolescent or I guess once you start living in cyberpunk, you can't really call it cyberpunk when you're being cyberpunk. Like, you're kind of just punk at that point. That feels like just regular punk. And evolved in numerous ways. Over the last 2 decades, it's taken on new meaning. A code of conduct emphasizes anti-authoritarianism, community organizing, corporate disengagement, socioeconomic consciousness. Good shit. The so-called singular is a wanderer, cultural critic Simon Sintius as a 21st century hero. Is it any wonder the most vulnerable people among us turn to the past for guidance? You think it's a coincidence victim number 6 was working on hardcore crops? Putting something in the food! Those people. Heartbreak. This is a goddamn embarrassment. How am I paying taxes for? The state can't shut this shit down. What about you, Adonai? What do you think about this Heartbreak figure? They're just a murderer. Should be caught and sentenced like any other murderer. But they must have some reason for doing such terrible things. Aren't you curious? Why? Are some reasons for committing murder better than others? They might have experienced trauma or abuse. They might have millions of people experience trauma and abuse every day. Millions. And yet there's only one heartbreak. So you think that they were just born that way? That's my guess. That's unsatisfying. Sad. I don't see why it would be. Oh, they broke the 180 rule. Hey, remember when we were talking about the 180 rule earlier? We just fucking broke it. But here's the thing. It feels like they broke it on purpose. This is a very intentional moment of breaking it. Because it's sometimes used as a method to change your way of thinking. Like, yes, it can mess with spatial stuff and other things, but if done properly, it gives this idea that this is a new kind of... Yes, exactly, Swift. Swift, I wish you were here earlier to help me explain the 180 rule, because I can't do it on my own, I've learned. But anyways, it proved, with this line in particular, it's supposed to tell us something about the characters. If heartbreak was born like that, then they never had a chance to be anything else. If heartbreak was born like that, then none of us normal people have to ever worry about turning out like them. That kind of predestination, it means they never have to take responsibility for what they are. The state can make them take responsibility, as soon as they catch them. You make it sound so trivial. They're a very dangerous serial killer. Just a serial killer. Just? If this case shot someone every day, it would take them 1,132 years and about 11 months. In order to have killed 413,789 people. Wait. If they shot someone every day, months. You did that in your head? I'm good at mental math. Me too. You counted the leap years. But what is the significance of that number? Deaths within 18 months of the Blakeford industrial disaster. What? Congestion ahead. We're currently limiting traffic related to this particular search due to a large number of edits coming from outside your country's borders. We're proud to fight alongside your user country in combating. What the fuck? Times that number by 2 for the injuries. Tack on another 183% for the birth defects. 413,000 dead. And there wasn't anything evil about it. Just human error, some shoddy welding, and time. So you think that heartbreak is nothing by comparison? Perhaps that is the problem then. If they're nothing, if they represent nothing, then they can stand for whatever the crowd wants them to. Please, make way. Officials are coming through. Please, disperse. Keep walking, Biggs. Fascists! No one owns the cops! Only the cops they build in their factories. Very funny. Why are we tolerating this shit? You want me to wade into the crowd with a nightstick? Prove them wrong? You know what I mean. The only people in the city trying to do some goddamn good, and they all that's just part of our job, detective. No offense, man, but wearing a police badge earns you a little more hate than... They get prosecutors' badges? I have an ID for the parking garage. Does that count? Also, of course there's a reason people hate the police. Have you seen them? Have you seen the police? Depends. You ever hesitate to wear it in the open? This moral relativism of yours seems like a strange philosophy for someone in your profession, Adonai. Breaking out the thesaurus on me. I'm only being realistic and humble. I'm just one woman, Sarah. Whatever I do, right or wrong, is less than a % rounding error in the grand scheme of things. Do you tell that to your clients? No, but they come to appreciate it when I win. I don't mean cops in particular. Same deal applies to anyone who works in the state. The terms are stark, the ink's dried a long time ago, and we all agree to them. I don't recall voting for it. Well, not voting is how these things come to pass, so... We traded freedom for safety, individual rights for collective power. The state won, the citizens lost. The very least we can do is take their criticisms head on. Look, I don't have a problem with the responsibilities of authority, only with authority being challenged. They treat us like we're the bad guys. Well, sometimes we are. Sometimes the law is wrong. Emma, absolute favorite prosecutor in any Ace Attorney-like game I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. So, if any given individual is too small to ever affect change, so the public's gonna hate us no matter what we do. And if corporations and governments will trample over the people the same, regardless of their character. And we can't even be sure we're doing the right thing. What do you do, Adonai? What the hell do we do? I think it's pretty simple. It's not as complicated as you think. In times like these, in a world like this, the only logical way to live is, the only moral way to act is, do whatever it takes to win. I don't like either of these people at this moment. This is some real toxic shit going on here. I do love the music change though. Okay, I want to look at over Emma's stuff for just a second. Sometimes the law is wrong. The public's gonna hate us no matter what we do, and we can't even be sure we're doing the right thing. What do we do? In times like these, we do whatever it takes to win. I don't like this answer. I don't like this answer, but also considering the circumstances of which these people live, you know what? Fair enough that this is the answer that they've come to. Her, however, this makes sense. Never mind. This is exactly what every prosecutor I've ever seen in these games say. If I'm insignificant in the grand scheme of things, I can do my worst and no one will notice. If power is inherently evil, holding back won't save your soul. Just fight with both barrels and trust the opposition to do the same. Winner takes all. Gambling! Holy shit. Alright, that was a dope ass moment. I have to admit, that was fucking cool. This game's got everything. It's got Yuri, the toxic kind. It's got murder. It's got anti-capitalism baked into its very being. Anti-fascism. It's fucking wild. Yeah. Absolutely insane shit. Thank you, you're a lifesaver. And next time that Bridezilla texts you, just turn your phone off. Chatty guy. Must have been due to go on break. When he tried and failed to find the witness's medical record, his datapad had the name blacked out. But I did see that they have Caduceus Executive 3, more expensive than David, which means they most likely... How did you do that? You need to hold the button to get the doors to close faster. Mashing does nothing. That is not what I meant. There were many others who were right before us. How did you get us down here so quickly? Well, I didn't do anything. It was that nurse who escorted us. Yes, but you managed to get a stranger like him to help you with so few words, so little information. I don't think you even gave him your name. Haven't you heard of the golden rule? Of course I have. Treat others how you would want to be treated. Wrong. Treat others how they would want to be treated. He wanted someone that he could vent to. He wanted someone to pay attention to him, and he wanted to feel appreciated, which means he'd be eager to help, given the chance. Even just reading someone's mood is quite difficult. How can you know how another person wants to be treated? There are no mind readers. No one can ever know anything about what anyone's thinking. Maybe not even themselves. Doesn't matter if they're your parents, your twin, your lover, it'll always be a gamble. That is, not a very comforting sentiment. Well, I think it's fun. Only because you're good at it. How did you get good at it? Same as anything. Observation and practice. You must have been observing and practicing for a very long time then. I am too D&D pilled that my brain immediately starts going thinking about, damn, she got that high as fuck insight. This woman's absolutely maxed out her fucking wisdom. She's also maxed out her charisma. Well, she also has really good deception. Her charisma and her wisdom are both way up there. So we proceed down the hall, bear left, look for the fourth door. I'm gonna open the one that says morgue on it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, you guys, we have a problem. You guys, we have a problem. Oh no, I love her already. Oh, hey! Come on in, don't stand out there in the cold, wouldn't be accurate. Sorry about the chillin' here, but I'll run a little hot. And you can see my roommates never complain. Yumi Sato, medical examiner. Hello, I love you? Likes, accessories, reality TV, palm reading. Dislike social media, dress codes, good, ebooks. Loves to make new playlists, hates to throw out old clothes. Most proud of my weekly meal prep, nice. Oh no, she's hot! Dr. Sato, just the lady I wanted to see. Though I didn't expect that I'd get to. The fact that they assigned a medical examiner, not some ad or junior, means... Exactly, Maya. Lady, possibly? She's also a serial killer. And she's just very, very good at it. Oh yeah, well, it's not even the eyelashes. Like, I don't even know what, that's just their eyes. I guess it is the eyelashes, I don't know. Where it just kind of juts out like that, if it's still showing the white, it does look very good. because all of them have it. Oh, you can just call me Yumi. And you're Morgan. I represent the deceased. The deceased? Oh, the deceased. Asher D. Wait, really? That's, weird. All this time slot was scheduled for a group of noble PR people. I know. Weird, right? Oh, what the hell do I know? Getting tired of hosting Megs anyway. Gotta finish typing up this report before we talk shop. But in the meantime, feel free to make yourself at home. Time to snoop. What's this? The hospital's getting renamed. No, guess it's some other hospital that got snapped up. Hospital renamed to thank Icaria family. A ribbon cutting ceremony formally renamed the Northeastern Icaria Medical Complex. Oh no, Plodder Memorial Hospital was formally renamed, not formally. Game, you wanna thank you? Icaria are better known for drawing blood than donating it. They had a fierce record for cutthroat business practices that had their business rivals going so far as to accuse them of involvement with organized crime. After the founding of Renigen Medical over 25 years ago. Economics of the Mysteries during the Red Decade. When asked her opinion on those who label her family house, in this country, anyone can make a name for themselves. We'd be able to do it a lot faster if you leave a tip. Want to drop your payment info in the tip jar? No, I'm good. Guess they weren't always in the same line of work. Now they're plastering them wherever to get themselves all the nobility are eager to prop up their image wherever they can. That must go double for the Icarias. Assuming the truth about their criminal past is anywhere close to the rumors. That's a lot of screens. It's got to be diminishing returns on productivity. Why do you have so many monitors, ma'am? You can't just ask someone that. Good question! Every quarter when they do inventory and budgeting, they ask if I need anything. I never do, so I submit a blank form. Because a while back there was a +1 in a spreadsheet somewhere and no one's ever corrected it, and so, boom! I get 4 new monitors every year. Do you run out of things to use them for? Sometimes. This year I started running 2 dramas at once when I'm doing rote work, which helps. Watching 2 television shows at the same time helps you do rote work. Helps me use up the screens. I see. That's really funny, actually. Just like, I have all these screens for no reason. Like, it's literally the only thing I'm using them for is to use them. Which, honestly, hilarious. Are these all dead bodies? One would hope so. Only meant that I'm surprised to see them stored here. It's just a backlog, which is just a higher murder rate than the public data would lead one to expect. You only examine bodies for the police, Doctor. No, I wish. Nah, most of my job involves confirming COD on natural deaths for insurance adjustments. Insurers want to blame the mod for failing, mod makers want to blame the stiff for not exercising enough. Family says the company insurance plan would pay for mod, but not a gym membership. And that whole wall there's suspected defective liver mod, suspected leaking internal bio batteries, suspected CCIC. CCIC? Climate change induced complications. You can prove that climate change contributed to an otherwise natural death very, very rarely. If it can be proved, what does that mean for the family of the deceased? Plus or minus 14% on the life insurance payment. I mean, it's most of what I do, and I don't dislike my job. It's just so much of what I do just boils down to telling a bunch of cheapskates how to split the dead man's bill. It's enough to make homicide feel like a breath of fresh air. Is she finishing up over there? Alright, okay, so, what's up? Well, thanks for your time, Dr. Santo. My first question would be, what was the cause of death? Oh wow, hi there. Cute android. Didn't even realize it was. Really cute, the skin is. That's remarkable. Even just looking close, you can tell. They really are warm. Still not quite human body temperature, but they've come a long way. Early gens all look flushed. Felt like they were always running a fever. And they ran like it too. Even 2 years ago, the average warm android only lasted, sorry, but the circumstances surrounding this particular case call for expediency. Right. So what can I tell you? Were you able to determine the cause of death? Well, cause of death, sure. Gotten that much figured out at least. Why doesn't that sound particularly reassuring? Dr. Asher died of respiratory failure. Not enough oxygen in blood, not enough blood going to the brain. Root cause being widespread depression of the central nervous system. What would the symptoms be? What would it have looked like? Lightheadedness, followed by dizziness, then headache, slurred speech, exhaustion, loss of consciousness, and finally, respiratory arrest. Report shows that the EMTs tried intubation, then resuscitation through electrical stimulation, repeatedly. By the time he got to the emergency room, they were desperate enough to attempt direct artificial blood oxygenation, but it was too late. And you're certain of all this? Oh, well, most of it, sweetie. Most of it. Yeah, it's turned into quite the puzzle, and I'm used to having more pieces to start with. I was surprised a man as rich and famous as him didn't have any kind of biomes. What? Biomonitor. Oh. Interesting. Biomonitors are also frequently. Okay. He wasn't a viable candidate for modding. Yeah, that's right. Not the kind of first-hand tech, we don't have nearly as much data as we'd like. But he was extensively monitored from the moment the ENT arrives. We're very certain about our conclusion. Did you find anything else unusual about his body in your examination? Cuts or bruises? No injection sites? Nothing in any cavities? Nothing at all, The police mentioned a tox screen. Yeah, that's the thing. They ran a tox screen when he first arrived. Typical diagnostic intake procedure. Based on the emergency call, they figured he must have overdosed on something, but the tox screen gave them nothing. After he died, we performed the broadest screenings possible. Nothing. So were you forced to conclude this was a natural death? I didn't give up that easy. Took blood samples and compared their makeup with what was on record in his previous medical history. And I managed to isolate a single, non-naturally occurring chemical compound that wasn't there before. Hi, Biscuit. Hello, my darling baby. What was it? Some exotic toxin from a different hemisphere. I wish. Ran through every available database we have access to. And even a few I only sort of have access to through some friends. Not only doesn't... Biscuit, calm down. Not now, baby. Not only does it not match any known poison, it doesn't match the chemical makeup of any registered compound. He woke up and he said, Mama, playtime. And I'm like, not yet, I'm still streaming. No, here, follow the sounds. Whee! Play with the toy. Ah. So, a designer drug, huh? Well, that seems to be the best explanation. What the hell did you do, David? You said it didn't match any registered compound. What about compounds that aren't registered? Those friends of yours, private sector folks? Yeah, and pharmaceuticals. If one of them patented a new compound, a new drug, what would keep its formula from going on the record? In the private sector, intellectual property piracy is the norm. No, I didn't. I started at normal time. It's been 3 hours. I started at 4 o'clock. That's normal for me. On Thursdays. Saturdays are my 2 o'clock, which is 2 hours earlier. He just always, it's just like, Mama, it's 7 o'clock. It is time.
Mother, the chaos calls me. Play with me or suffer the ramifications.
Well, right now the ramifications are he's just standing by the door, despite the fact that it should be very cold right next to the door because it doesn't prevent, because it's not very well insulated. Hey, baby. Oh, never mind. He knew I was talking about him, so now he's here. I started at 10 p.m. there. I do. Huh. Because I didn't change my start time. I started at my normal time for me. They changed a month ago. We fell back back in mid-November. You're supposed to protect your research aggressively. Patent first, find a use later. Yeah, patent would have to at least describe your compound in brief. But depending on what country you file in, I've heard it may be considered prudent to keep the actual chemical makeup off the record. Smart. Using international IP law is your own personal minefield. How so? Whenever you're ahead, pound as much as you can, as fast as you can, but bury the formula so no one knows where it's safe to walk. Anybody small and ambitious comes along. Some don't. Mine only changed one. I know for a fact that it only changed one. Also, I've never heard of any time zone changing by 2 hours. Find a new drug they're excited about. You flip up your card, letting you know you came up with the idea years ago. And that you'll give them death by 1,000 court dates if they so much as blink. Want to work on anyone your size or bigger, they could punch back. But for the rest of the field, wow, you corporate lawyers are scary. I'm not a corporate lawyer. So you came up with that strategy just now? So it's possible that this poison is actually a known substance? Something that the hospital could have easily identified if it wasn't considered a trade secret. Yes, unfortunately that is a possibility. Oh, yes. I thought the only ones that didn't change in America were Hawaii and Arizona. Not Mountain Time, Arizona specifically. Still, just because a drug is new, that doesn't mean it's original. Does the effect of this compound hound remind you of any other drug? Maybe one that's prescription only, or controlled substance? One you might know by another name, but with a patented structure? Sorry, sweetheart, it's a general depressant. There are a lot of drugs that have that effect on the body, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from all kinds of places. If the effect was unremarkable, what about strength? Could you estimate how much of the stuff he had in his body, all told? Not precisely, no, not without detailed knowledge on his half-life, but I guess it must have been about 20 milligrams. Is 20 milligrams a lot? Not for a medicine. So this wasn't just an overdose of something relatively harmless then. No, not if 20 mil was enough to crash his entire nervous system. Yeah, 20 milligrams is incredibly small. For a comparison, I'm trying to think. Trying to think of a good comparison. Most, like, over-the-counter pain medicine, like ibuprofen and stuff, that's just like, I think it's anywhere between like 50 and 200. Thank you, Yumi. Of course. So, you ready to view the body? We could skip it if you want. I know most people get squeamish around corpses. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay then, let's get started. Alright then. I'll step out for a moment to give you some privacy. Yes, please. Thank you. The last time we talked was on a Sunday. You're complaining, I remember that. It's the principle of the matter. Alright, you had ordered this cheap piece of shit sculpture or something by mistake, and it came damaged, and you wanted to send it back for a refund. I gently reminded you how, with your salary, it was literally not worth your time, and I kindly offered to throw it out for you, since you're having so much trouble letting go. You're only offering because you want to see how loud it sounds shattering at the bottom of my trash can. I denied it, even though you were right, and it was obvious. I should have let you have that one. I thought that he would look different. But he looks exactly the same as I remember. His skin is pale, and he's very still. But his face is the same. His hair, his hands. You were expecting something more drastic? The last time I saw him, he was alive. He smiled, and he told me he would see me soon. Now he is dead. Something is gone, and I can't find a difference. I'm trying to look harder, but I think I might just not be capable of it. And I wonder why. Why I was created to not be capable. Could be an issue of skill. Or maybe it's not something that can be seen, no matter how hard you look. But it's there, I guarantee it. I've seen the transition enough times to be sure that between life and death, the distinction has significance. To the dead, at the very least. You're going to smoke? Here? Now? I'll pay the fine. Yeah, last time you said that, you were covering up the fact that you were the murderer. Like, straight up? Well, last time you said that? That's not the issue. Are you expecting me to fall to pieces? Real boys grieve in all kinds of ways, Pinocchio. And some don't grieve at all, it seems. I'm a cold woman. Sorry to disappoint. Well, I want this thing light. Adonai, you have your cigarette backwards. Aw, she is grieving. She's trying not to let it show, but... Alright, that's back in the cold storage for him, so. Anything else? Can you send me the chemical makeup of that compound you isolated? Sure, for what it's worth. Let me just... It's got carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen with hexagonal structures. So it's organic. There's a number of metallic elements, too. And you've had to speculate on its intended use, based on what we know of its structure. Well, it certainly acted like a depressant, binding to receptor pathways and affecting the balance of neurotransmitter reuptake. Depressants are pretty rare in the designer drug scene. True, people are always looking for a higher high or a crazier trip, but a more powerful depressant will just make you fall asleep. Not much need to hit up the gray market for that kind of experience. No, there's not. They say, thanks again. You've been extremely helpful during a very difficult time. Hey, anything you need? Give me a ring. How about a date? That's very generous. Rockford's orders that got me on a call, so I'm already getting overtime for the whole weekend. Glad to hear it. Goodbye, Yumi. And goodbye to you, Greenie. My name is Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Alright, now that we're out of the morgue, I think that might be where we call it here. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the perfect spot. We're going to call it right here. Oh, yes. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Thank you all so much for joining me for some more of The Devil. Next week is Christmas. So here's the deal. I have no plans for Christmas. I'll be straight up. I have no plans. So I will very likely just stream on Christmas. Just very normal. We're just going to do that. However, do not be surprised if I suddenly change my mind or if we do it some other time in the week. I'll figure it out as time goes. But most likely, that is the plan. How about biscuit? Careful. All right. Yeah, we're just going to call it here. We'll be back on Saturday for more Kingdom Hearts Level 2, or Kingdom Hearts 2, EXP 0. We're going through that. It's a fun time. It's a challenging time. It's a difficult time. Biscuit boy, baby. Biscuit boy, baby. I love you. You realize if you just get up in my lap, I will give you so many pets and scritches, and then you immediately say, no, not in the lap. And I'm like, do you want me to follow you into the other room where you'll flop down where I'll give you pets and scritches anyways? And he'll probably say yes. But until then. Anyways, yeah, Saturday. Sundays are my... Okay, what we've learned from this last week are Sundays are my art stream days if I have the energy. Biscuit, be careful. You're getting better, Biscuit, and I love you, but you still gotta be careful. Because this past Sunday I did not stream because I was literally taking a nap at that exact time. Which, god damn it, I'm turning into a nap girly. Shit. Fuck. Never thought that'd be me. But anyways, that's all for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back on Saturday. More of The Devil next week. Until then, get some food, get some water, get some rest. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Biscuit is saying goodbye, even though he doesn't know it. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Wait, what? Hold on. Before I call it, wait, what? Maya, what's up? And I'm just like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Am I gonna die? Am I... What's about to happen? That means something else to other people. Oh. Oh, yeah, no. Okay. I get it now. Alright, bye. We're gonna end it on that. We're ending it there.